Welcome to your ultimate guide to customizing the popular Spotlight theme on Shopify. In this full-length tutorial, we'll be diving deep into customizing the Spotlight theme to create an online store that not only looks great, but actually converts browsers into buyers. There are tons of customizable sections available with the Spotlight theme, and I'll be demonstrating them all in this complete guide. I'll demonstrate how to customize your store header, showcase a featured product, add an eye-catching banner, display your product collections, add an auto-rotating slideshow, collect emails with a newsletter sign-up, and much more. You're about to see the entire theme customization process from start to finish, so if you follow along and take action, by the end of the video, you'll have a stunning Shopify store that's ready to shine light on your products. So let's head over to Shopify and go over how to install and customize the Spotlight theme. But before we get started, if you haven't joined Shopify yet, head over to learnwithjason.com or simply click the link in the video description to unlock your free trial. If you're looking to launch an e-commerce store, Shopify is definitely the most popular and, in my opinion, the best platform you could use to build your online business. No credit card is required to start your free trial, and if you like it, which I bet you will, you can select a Shopify pricing plan that best suits the size and the stage of your business. So if you're ready to take the plunge and launch your own e-commerce store, go ahead and click the link in the video description to try Shopify for free. So once you get to Shopify, go ahead and log in. This should take you to your Shopify account dashboard. This is the main hub where you can manage your Shopify store, add products, and view your analytics. So the first thing we'll be going over is how to find and install the Spotlight theme. To add the Spotlight theme, we'll need to access the Shopify theme store. To do this, let's look at the menu on the left-hand side and click the Online Store tab. This should take us directly over to the menu where we can manage our themes. At the top here, you can see the theme that's currently being used with your online store. Even if you're just getting started, a default theme should be installed. If you scroll underneath your theme preview, you can view your theme library. Here's where you can view and switch between all the themes that you've downloaded for your online store. On Shopify, we can add up to 20 different themes to our account. And if we keep scrolling down, we can view a section where we can view all the popular free themes that are available in the Shopify theme store. Spotlight is one of the most popular themes on Shopify, so it should be available here. But if it's not, you can simply click the Visit Theme Store button here. This will take you to the Shopify theme store where you can browse all the free and paid themes that are available on Shopify. There are tons of different themes you can select from depending on your style and the products you're selling. Feel free to browse the Shopify theme store if you like, but I'm going to head back over to my dashboard. So in the popular free theme section here, currently, the Spotlight theme is the second choice. So before installing, let's click the Spotlight tab here to view the theme details. This should take us to a page where we can get more information about the Spotlight theme and view a theme preview. Spotlight is a free theme developed by Shopify, and it's a streamlined theme that allows you to quickly start selling. It has a clean and efficient design for displaying your products, a simple layout which allows you to get up and running fast, and also features a flexible design with advanced customization options. Feel free to read over the theme details, and once you're finished, go ahead and scroll back up to the top of the page. If you wanted to view a demo store, you could click the button here. This will open up the demo store so you can get a better idea of how the theme will look. It has several demo products that you can navigate through, and some example information. By the time we're finished, our store is going to look completely different, but this is a good way to get a general idea of the theme layout. Using the tabs up top here, you can navigate between the desktop version and the mobile version. The Spotlight theme is mobile friendly, so your online store will look good on smartphones as well. Once you're finished, click the back button to go back to the theme main page. So now that we've previewed the Spotlight theme, let's go over how to install it to our online store. To install the Spotlight theme, let's click the Try Theme button on the left-hand side here. Shopify should then start adding the Spotlight theme to your account, and after a few moments, it should be available in your theme library. So from the Themes menu in your Shopify dashboard, let's scroll down to the theme library. As you can see, the Spotlight theme is currently being installed. This may take a minute or two, but once it's finished, you'll be able to see the theme preview and the editing options. Now that Spotlight has been added to our theme library, we can use it with our online store. But before switching to the Spotlight theme, the first thing we'll need to do is customize it. So from your theme library, go to the Spotlight theme, and all the way on the right-hand side, go ahead and click the Customize button. This will take you over to the theme customization menu. Here's where we can fully customize the Spotlight theme to personalize our online store. Using the menu on the left-hand side here, we can fully customize our store by adding various sections and blocks. And as we make changes, we can see a store preview on the right-hand side. So now that we've installed the Spotlight theme, let's get started by going over how to adjust our theme settings. Your theme settings is where you can personalize your online store by adding things like your logo, a favicon, and your social media links. So to access your theme settings, let's go to the menu on the left-hand side here and click the theme settings icon. This will open up a menu with several tabs that you can use to personalize your online store. Here's where you can add your logo, adjust your colors, adjust your typography, your store layout, add your social media links, and much more. So first, let's go back up to the top here and click the logo tab. Here's where you can add a logo for your online store and your favicon image. So let's start by adding my logo. When you upload a logo, it can be used in various places in your online store like your store header. So to upload your logo, go ahead and click the select button here. This will open up a menu where you can view the images that you've previously uploaded to Shopify and where you can add new images as well. For the best results, make sure your logo is at least 300 pixels wide and is in PNG format with a transparent background. So to upload my logo, let's click the Add Images button at the top. I can then find and open up my logo image. The image should then start uploading, and once it's finished, make sure you have it selected, then click the Done button at the bottom right. And my logo image has been added to my online store. If you look at my store preview on the right hand side, you can see my logo has replaced the text in my top header. If you need to adjust the size of your logo, you can use the desktop logo width slider bar on the left hand side menu here. This will allow you to easily increase or decrease the pixel size of your logo. I think I'll make my logo a bit bigger. There we go. That looks much better. So from the logo tab, the next thing we can add is our favicon image. A favicon is the small icon that appears beside your website name in your web browser tab. For your favicon, you should use a square image with the minimum size of 250 by 250 pixels. So to add my favicon image, let's click the select button here. This should open up our image library. So to upload my favicon, let's click the Add Images button. I can then find and open up my favicon image. For my image, I'm simply going to use a different version of my logo. So once it finishes uploading, go ahead and click the Done button at the bottom right. And a favicon has been added to my online store. Now when shoppers visit my website, my favicon should appear beside my store name in the browser. So we finished adding our logo and our favicon image to the logo tab. So let's check out the other theme settings tabs and see what else we can do. If you click the Colors tab here, you can view different color schemes that can be applied to various sections in your online store. If you like, you can add a new color scheme here as well. From the Typography tab, you can adjust the fonts for the various sections of your online store. From the Layout tab, you can adjust things like your page width and the space between rows and columns. From the Animation tab, you can add some style to your online store by adding movement effects to your cards and buttons. I think I'll add the vertical lift hover effect. From the Buttons tab, you can adjust the style of your buttons and even add a shadow. There are several theme settings tabs that you can customize for your online store, so feel free to take your time and personalize whichever ones you wish. One tab you want to make sure to add details to is your Brand Information tab. Here's where you can add a headline, a description, and an image for your brand. Adding this information is great for SEO, and you can have it appear in your store's footer. To add a headline for my brand, I can simply type it in the headline text box here. Now let's add my brand description. If you already have a brand headline and description that you use elsewhere, feel free to simply paste it here. So I've added my headline and description. Now let's add my brand image. To add my image, let's click the Select button here. This will open up your image library. For my brand image, I'm actually just going to use the same logo image that I used for my favicon. So let's select the image here, then click the Done button at the bottom right. And my brand image has been added. Underneath the Brand Information tab, you'll also see the Social Media tab. Here's where you can add links to all the different social media accounts for your brand. They have pretty much every platform, including Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, X, and more. Go ahead and add links to all the different brand pages that you have available. I'm going to add links to my Facebook brand page and my YouTube channel. Once you add your social media links, you can have social media icons appear in various places in your online store. So feel free to go through the various theme settings tabs and take your time to customize whatever you like. Any of the settings can be changed at any time, so feel free to be creative and try some different things out. And once you're finished, make sure you go up to the top right of the page and click the Save button. And all of the changes to my theme settings have now been saved. So from the menu on the left, let's click the top icon here to go back to the Sections menu. So we've added our logo, our Favicon, and adjusted other theme settings. So now let's start putting together our theme by customizing our store header. Your header is one of the most important sections of your online store and is crucial for both branding and navigation. It's displayed at the top of all pages in your online store and includes important elements like your store's navigation menu and your logo. If we look at my store preview on the right, we can see my header at the top with the logo that I just added in my theme settings. If you look at the menu on the left, the header tab should be enabled by default. So to customize my store header, let's click the Header Main tab here. This will open up a menu with various options for customizing your store's header. At the top here, we can use the drop-down menu to select our desktop logo position. We can display our logo at the top left of our header, the top center, the middle left, or the middle center. When updating some things on the desktop version, you may have to click the expand icon at the top here to view the changes. If you haven't added your logo to your Shopify store yet, you can click the link here to go to your theme settings to upload it. Once you select your desktop logo position, you can use the Next tab here to add a menu to your header. If we click the Select button here, it'll open up a tab where we can view all the different menus that we've created for our Shopify store and where we can create a new menu if we like as well. If you need to create a new menu, you can use the option up top here. But for my store, I've already created my menu, so let's select it from the list here. Once you select a menu, it'll be added to your Shopify store header. If it displays the hamburger icon, you can simply click it and your menu should appear. So if we go down to the next section here, we can select our desktop menu type. We have 3 options to choose from, which includes a drop-down menu, a mega menu, and a drawer, which is the hamburger menu. To view the differences between the menus, you may have to click the expand icon at the top here. So once you select your desktop menu type, you can go to the next section and select your sticky header settings. A sticky header will allow your header to stay on the screen as the customer scrolls your website. If we click the sticky header drop-down menu, we can see several options that we can select from. If you don't want a sticky header, you can select none. But if you select on scroll up, your header will stick when a customer scrolls up your website. If we go back to the drop-down menu, we can also select to have your header always stick. And there's also the option that I prefer, which is to always stick but reduce the logo size. Now my header will always stick on the page, but when a customer scrolls, my logo will get smaller. For my online store, I think I'll go with this. Using the next option here, we can select to show a separator line between our header and the rest of our online store. This is great for keeping things organized, especially if you're using a sticky header. So the next thing we can do from our header customization menu here is customize our header color. Using the top drop-down menu here, we can select the main color scheme for our header. There are several default color schemes that you can select from, and if you want to create a new color scheme, you can do that in your theme settings. For my header, I want it to have a dark background, so let's go with color scheme number 4. From the next drop-down menu here, we can select our menu color scheme. When selecting your colors, make sure you keep branding in mind. For instance, my logo is red, black, and white, so I'm going to select to have a red menu with white text, and my main header already has a black background. I think this all works together really well. If we scroll down to the next sections here, we can select to show our country region selector, our language selector, and our customer accounts login icon. And these are all pretty useful tools, so I'm going to keep them enabled. Underneath this, we have our mobile layout section. Here's where we can select our mobile logo position. When viewing your online store on mobile, you can select to show your logo on the left of your header or in the center of your header. I think I prefer the center. And using the remaining options here, you can adjust your button spacing and the top and bottom padding of the section. But I'm just going to leave these as is, so let's click the back button to go back to the theme customization main menu. So we finished customizing our Shopify store header for both our desktop view and our mobile view. I think my header looks a lot more professional. So once you finish making your updates, make sure you go up to the top of the page and click the Save button. And all the changes to my header have now been saved. I have my sticky header with my logo in the center, my drop-down menu with the red color scheme, and since I added my brand social media links to my theme settings, We can even view icons to my social media pages at the bottom here. So that's a quick overview of how to customize your online store header. Now let's go over how to set up and customize an announcement bar for your Shopify homepage. An announcement bar is a horizontal strip that includes text, typically placed at the very top of your store's homepage. Adding an announcement bar is a great way to grab viewers' attention and can be used to communicate important messages or updates to shoppers. So let's go over the steps to add an announcement bar to my homepage. From the theme customization menu, let's go to the header section from the menu on the left. From here, let's look down at the bottom and click the Add Section tab. This will open up a menu with the various sections that you can add to your header. At the top, you should see the Announcement Bar tab. Go ahead and click that now. An announcement bar should now be viewable in your preview, and you should now see the Announcement Bar tab in the header section in the menu on the left. To customize our announcement bar, let's click the Main Announcement Bar tab here. This will open up a menu with various customization options. Using the top drop-down menu, you can select a color scheme for your announcement bar. There are several default color schemes you can select from, or you can create a new color scheme in your theme settings. Since my header is black, let's select a gray color scheme for my announcement bar. Whenever you make any updates, you should see the changes appear in the preview on the right. Using the next tab here, you can select to show a separator line underneath your announcement bar. If my header and my announcement bar were the same color, this will be really useful to visually separate the two. And in the next section here, we can select to show our social media icons in our announcement bar. To view this in your preview, you may have to click the expand icon at the top right here. Icons will appear here for whatever social media pages you've linked in your theme settings. Viewers can click the link and be sent directly to your brand pages. If you still need to add links to your social media accounts, you can click here to access your theme settings. Underneath this, we can select to have our announcements auto-rotate. This is great for if you have multiple announcements and you want to add an eye-catching effect to your homepage. To enable auto-rotating announcements, go ahead and click the tab here. You can then use the slider bar underneath to select how often your announcements rotate. You can move the slider left or right to select the number of seconds that your announcement is displayed. For this demonstration, I'm just going to put mine on 3 seconds. At the bottom here, we can also select to show our country region selector and our language selector. I'm going to leave these disabled since they're already enabled in my header. And finally, if you haven't already, you can click the Theme Settings tab here to add links to your social media brand pages. So once you're finished adjusting your announcement bar settings, go back up to the top here and click the back button to go back to the theme customization menu. So we've gone over how to personalize and adjust our announcement bar settings. Now let's go over how to create announcements. If you click the drop down from the announcement bar tab, there should be a default announcement already available. Let's click it to edit the text. This will open up a menu where you can create your announcement. Using the top field here, you can type in whatever text you want to use for your announcement. For my first announcement, I'm just going to welcome shoppers to my online store. When you add your text, you should see your preview update on the right-hand side as well. If you like, you could also use the next field here to add a link to your text. Simply click the text field and you can select the page in your online store that you want to send customers to. But for my first announcement, I'm not going to add a link, so let's just click the back button to go back to the theme customization menu. So my announcement bar now has one announcement, but let's go over how to add another one. If you hover your mouse right underneath your first announcement or underneath the announcement bar tab, you should see the add announcement icon appear. Click this to create another announcement. And another announcement tab with default text has been added to my announcement bar section. So just like we did with my first announcement, let's select it and change the default text. For this announcement, I'm going to invite shoppers to view my latest products. Also, for this announcement, I want to add a link to my products, so let's click the link field at the bottom here. This will open up a menu where I can select where to send shoppers to. This includes your product collections, individual products, the pages in your online store, your blog posts, and your policies. And if you like, you can also just paste in a custom link as well. If I select collections, it'll open up a menu where I can view all the collections that I've created on Shopify. Let's select to send viewers to my clothing and apparel collection. So I finished editing my second announcement, so let's click the back button to go back to the theme editor main menu. So my announcement bar should now have 2 auto-rotating announcements. And I added a link to my second announcement, so if customers click it, they'll be taken to the page I selected. Also, my announcement bar is currently underneath my header, but I want it to be at the top of the page. So to rearrange my sections, let's go to the left-hand side of the announcement bar tab and click and drag the dots icon here. I can then drag the section up and move it above my header. Now my announcement bar is at the very top of the page. If you like, feel free to add more announcements, but once you're finished, make sure you go up to the top right of the page and click the Save button. And all of my changes have been saved. I now have an auto-rotating announcement bar that can display messages to shoppers. So I've added an announcement bar to my online store. Now let's go over how to add a featured collection. A featured collection is a curated group of products that can be showcased on your homepage for shoppers to easily find. You can create product collections based on any category that you like, such as your best-selling products, new arrivals, similar items, or other product groups, and prominently display them on your homepage with a featured collection. So from the theme customization menu, let's look at the menu on the left-hand side and go to the template section. Here's where we can add and customize the various sections for our Shopify homepage. If you're customizing the Spotlight theme, a featured collection may already be added to your theme by default. And if you've already added products to your store, you'll be able to see your products in the featured collection in your preview on the right-hand side as well. But if it's not enabled by default, or if you want to add another featured collection, simply click the Add Section tab here. This will open up a menu where you can view all the different sections that you can add to your homepage. At the top of the menu here, you should see the Featured Collection tab. Simply click this to add a new featured collection. But since one's already added to my store by default, let's go over how to customize this one. So to customize my featured collection, let's click the Featured Collection tab here. This will open up a menu with various options to customize our featured collection. At the top here, we can use the text box to add a heading for our featured collection. You can use whatever heading that you like, but I recommend using a heading that best represents your products. For this example, I'm just going to use the heading Featured Collection. Underneath this, you can use the drop-down menu to select your heading size. There are several sizes to choose from small to extra large. When selecting a size, make sure it matches the style of your store. For my store, I'm just going to go with small. Also, if you wanted to add formatting for your heading, you can do that using the icons here, such as adding bold or italics to your text. In the next text field here, we can add a description for our featured collection. Feel free to write a description that best describes your products. But if you're like me and you're not a writer, we can use the Generate Text icon here to have AI write our description for us. If we click the Generate Text icon, it'll open up a menu where we can describe the text that we want to generate. So for my description, I want the AI to generate a description of a featured collection of apparel products designed for entrepreneurs. Once you describe the text you want, you can use the drop-down menu here to select the tone of your text. There are several tones to choose from, such as expert, daring, and playful, or you can also add a custom tone. For my tone, I think I'll just stick with expert. So now that I've described my text and selected a tone, let's click the Generate button on the right-hand side here. Artificial intelligence will then analyze your text and provide you with several description options. Feel free to read over the various descriptions and select the one that you like best. When you select a description, the text will be added to the description box on the left-hand side, and you should see a preview of the text appear on the right. If you want to change the style of your description, you can go down to the Description Style drop-down menu here. If you click this, you can select to have your description display as body text, subtitle text, or in all uppercase. I think I like the body text. So using the next drop-down menu here, we can select the collection that we want to feature. By default, it's showing all collections, but to change it, let's click the drop-down menu, then click the Replace tab. This will open up a menu showing you all the collections that you've created on Shopify, and where you can create a new collection if you like as well. For this example, let's select my clothing and apparel collection. When you select a collection, you should see the products in the collection appear in the preview on the right. Using the next two slider bars here, we can select the number of products to show in our collection and the number of columns to display on desktop. I don't want to overwhelm my homepage viewers with products, so I'm going to set my maximum products to show at 6. 6 products should now be shown in my featured collection section on the right. And for the number of columns to display on desktop, I think I'll just leave this at 4. To view how your featured collection will look on desktop, you may have to click the expand icon at the top here. Using the next option here, you can select to make your products full width, and underneath this, you can enable the View All button that customers can click to view all the products in your collection. With this selected, when I scroll down to the bottom of my featured collection, I can see a View All button that customers can click. Using the View All Style drop-down menu here, we can select the style of our button. We can select an outline button, a solid button, or simply to display a link. For my featured collection, I think I like the solid button. Using the next option here, you can select to show your products in a carousel style on your desktop. If I enable this and click to see my desktop view, The products in my collection should be displayed as a carousel that customers can scroll through. So if we take a look at the next option here, we can select the color scheme for our featured collection section. If you click the drop-down menu, you'll be able to select from several different default color schemes. If you want to create a new color scheme, you can do that in your theme settings. For my featured collection section, I think I'm going to go with this gray color scheme here. The section background color has now been changed, and we can even see my product cards more clearly now as well. And speaking of product cards, let's move down to the next section here, which is the product card section. Using the top drop-down menu here, we can select the image ratio for our product cards. We can have our image cards be displayed as square, as portrait, or to be adapted to the first image. To keep things clean and compact, I'm going to go with square. In the next drop-down menu, we can select the shape of our product card. We have some really cool shapes to choose from, including the default, which is the standard square, the arc, which adds a rounded arc over your product card, the blob, which makes your product cards look like blobs, the chevron left, and the chevron right, which are basically pointed arrows, the diamond, which is probably my least favorite, the parallelogram, which is a slanted background, and of course, we have the round background. For my product card shape, I think I'm going to go with the chevron right. I really like this design, and it looks like the cards are pointing to the next product. If your product has multiple images, you can use the next option here to show the second image when the customer hovers their mouse over the first image. And if you want to show the name of your vendor or your product rating, you can use the options here. Next, let's go over how to view and customize our mobile layout. To preview our mobile view, let's click the mobile icon up top here. So for our mobile layout, we can select to show our products in our featured collection in 2 columns or in 1 column. I think I'm going to go with 1 column so customers can get a closer view of my products. And so customers don't have to keep scrolling down to see my products. Let's select the options here to enable swipe. Now viewers can simply swipe left or right to view the products in my collection. I think this is much better and saves space on my homepage. If you like, you can also use this section here to adjust your padding, which is the space above and below your section. Feel free to customize your featured collection section as much as you like, but once you're finished, go ahead and click the back button to go back to the theme customization menu. So we've previewed my collection on mobile, so let's click the expand icon at the top here to see how it looks on desktop. And here's my new customized featured collection section. I have my headline up top, my AI generated description, and all of my products with some cool product cards. And at the bottom, I also have a view all button that shoppers can click and be taken to a page to view all the products in my collection. So once you finish adding and customizing your featured collection section, make sure you go up to the top right of the page and click the save button. And all of the changes to my new featured collection have now been saved. So I've added a featured collection to my homepage. Now let's go over how to add a featured product. A featured product section prominently displays a selected product on your homepage that can be easily viewed by shoppers. This is a great way to drive sales to a specific product, whether it's a new arrival, bestseller, discounted item, or just a popular product you wish to highlight. So from the theme customization menu, let's go to the template section from the menu on the left. To add a featured product to my homepage, let's go down to the bottom and click the Add Section tab here. This will open up a menu where you can view all the different sections that you can add to your homepage. From the list here, go ahead and click the Featured Product tab. You should now see the Featured Product tab in the template section on the left, and you should see a preview of the section on the right. So let's go over how to customize our featured product section by clicking the Featured Product main tab here. This will open up a menu where you can select the product that you want to add to the section and where you can adjust other customization options as well. So to select my featured product, let's go up to the product section at the top here and click the select button. This will open up a menu where you can view all the products that you've added to Shopify. If you have a ton of products, you can use the search bar up top here to find the product that you want to add, or you can just simply scroll through the list here. For my product, let's go up to the search bar and search for flip-flops. This should pull up all the products in my store that contain that keyword phrase. I can now simply select the item that I want to use for my featured product, and the product images and details should now appear in my preview on the right. Using the next drop-down menu here, we can select the color scheme for our featured product section. You can select from one of the default color schemes available here, or if you like, you can create a new color scheme in your theme settings. For my featured product section, I think I'm going to go with the white color scheme. I think that has a clean look with the white flip-flops. So next, let's scroll down to the media section. Here's where you can adjust the various settings for your product media. Using the options up top here, you can select the width of your desktop media. You have 3 options to select from, including small, medium, and large. To view the differences between the various sizes, you may have to click the expand icon at the top here to see the desktop view. I'm gonna stick with medium. Next, you can use the option here to constrain your media to the screen height so the full product can be shown on the screen. Also, you can select to have your media fit in the original view or have it fill your product card. My original image pretty much fills the card, so it looks pretty much the same. And underneath this, you can select the position of your media for your desktop view. You can have your media on the left of your product details or on the right. I think I like the left side. Your media position is automatically optimized on mobile. Using the next drop-down menu here, you can select your image zoom style. There are 3 zoom options to choose from, which is to open a light box when the customer clicks your product media, have it zoom when they click and hover, or have no zoom. Let's select the click and hover. Now if a shopper wants to zoom in on my product media, they can simply click and hover. This is great to help shoppers get a better view of your products. Click and hover will be used for my desktop view, but on mobile, this defaults to the light box. Using the next 2 options here, you can select to hide other variants after a customer selects a variant, and if you're using a video with your product media, you can enable video looping. And if you need to adjust the top or bottom padding of your section, you can do that using the slider bars here. Feel free to customize your featured product section as much as you like, but once you're finished, go ahead and click the back button to go back to the theme customization main menu. So I've added my featured product section, but let's see what else we can do. If we go to the featured product tab and click the drop down menu here, we can view the various blocks that are in the section. These represent the details and different options for your product, and some of the blocks can be customized. If we click the text tab, we can edit the small text at the top of our featured product section. By default, this will show the product vendor. If you want to change the text style, you can use the drop down menu here. If you click the title block, you can use the drop down menu here to adjust your heading size. There are several sizes to choose from, including small, medium, large, extra large, and extra extra large. For my store, I think I'm gonna go with small. For some of the blocks, such as the price block, there won't be any customization options available. And if there's a block in your featured product section that you don't want to show, you can easily hide it. For my featured product section, I don't want to show this share block. So if we go all the way to the right hand side of the tab, we have 2 options here to remove it. We can use the eye icon to hide it, or if we want to completely delete it, we can click the trash can icon. Let's just hide the block, so if I want to bring it back later, I can simply click the eye icon to view it again. And the share tab has been hidden from my featured product section. And to save some space, I think I'll also hide the quantity selector. There we go. Feel free to personalize your featured product section as much as you like. And once you're finished, you can use the icons up top here to see how it looks on different devices. To see how my featured product section looks on desktop, let's click the expand icon here. And here's the full view of my featured product section. I think that looks pretty good. To see how it looks on mobile, let's click the mobile icon. On mobile, your product media will be displayed above the rest of the product information. If you notice anything that needs to be changed or added, feel free to do that now. But if everything looks good, make sure you go up to the top right of the page here and click the Save button. And my new featured product section has been saved. So I've added a featured product to my Shopify homepage. Now let's go over how to add a collection list. A collection list can be used to showcase a group of up to 16 selected product collections on your homepage. This is a great way to help customers find product collections that you want to highlight and provides a structured way for customers to browse your online store. So to add a collection list to my homepage, let's go to the template section from the menu on the left-hand side. At the bottom, go ahead and click the Add Section tab. This will open up a menu where you can view all the different sections that you can add to your Shopify homepage. From the sections here, go ahead and select Collection List. This will add the Collection List tab to the menu on the left-hand side, and you should see the Collection List preview on the right. So to customize my collection list, let's start by clicking the Collection List main tab here. This will open up a menu with various customization options. In the top text field here, we can add a heading for our collection list. Feel free to get as creative as you like with your heading, but I'm just going to name mine QD Collections. Using the next drop-down menu here, we can adjust our heading size. We have several options to choose from, including small, medium, large, extra large, and extra extra large. For my heading size, I think I'm going to stick with medium. Using the next drop-down menu, we can adjust our image ratio. We can have all our collection images adapt to the first image, have them display as portraits or as square. To keep things clean and compact, I typically like to use a square image ratio. Underneath this, we can use the slider bar here to select the number of columns to show on desktop. Feel free to adjust your columns, but I currently only have 3 collections, so I'm just going to stick with 3. Next, we can use the drop-down menu here to select the color scheme for our collection list. There are several default color schemes that you can select from and easily edit if you like. For this section, I think I'm going to go with a black background. If your store has a ton of product collections, you can use the option here to add a View All button to the bottom of your collection list. But since my store currently only has 3 collections, I don't think this is necessary yet. So if we scroll down to the next section here, we can adjust our mobile layout. But before adjusting our mobile layout, let's switch to the mobile view using the icon at the top here. Here's where we can preview our collection lists on a mobile device. So using the first option here, we can select to display 1 column or 2 columns on mobile. Or if you like, you can use the option here to allow viewers to swipe through your collections. What you select will depend on your personal preference, but I kind of like the 2 columns here. And if you like, you can use the slider bars here to adjust the top and bottom padding of your section. Feel free to personalize your collection list section as much as you like, but once you're finished, go ahead and click the back button to go back to the theme customization main menu. So I've personalized the layout of my collection list section. Now let's add my collections. If you look at the left side of the collection list tab, you should see a drop down arrow. Go ahead and click that now. This will display various blocks where you can add your collections. So to add my first collection, let's click the first block here. This will open up a menu where you can add your collection. To add a collection, let's click the select button at the top. This will take you to a menu where you can view the various collections that you've created on Shopify and where you can create a new collection if you like as well. So for the first collection in my collection list, let's select my clothing and apparel collection. My collection image and title should now be viewable in the preview on the right. So let's click the back button and do the exact same thing for my other collection blocks. For my second block, let's add my hats, beanies, and visors collection. And for my third block, let's display my home and living collection. There we go. So all 3 of my collections have been added to my collection list, but if you have more collections to add, you can easily do that by hovering your mouse underneath one of your collection blocks. This will display the Add Collection icon. If you click this, it'll add another collection block that you can edit. For your collection list, you can add up to 16 collections. But since my store currently only has 3 collections, let's delete this last block here. So I've finished customizing my collection list, so let's see how it looks on desktop by clicking the expand icon at the top here. And here's my new collection list. I have my title, my 3 columns, and my collections that customers can easily click to view. To see how it looks on mobile, let's click the mobile icon at the top. Let's scroll down a bit, and here's my collection list. I really like the dark background with the white text. So make sure you check out your collection list on each device and make any changes if needed. But once you're finished, make sure you go up to the top right of the page here and click the Save button. And my new collection list has now been saved. Shoppers can now view the collections available in my online store directly from my homepage. So I've added a collection list to my homepage. Now let's go over how to add a rich text section. When customizing your Shopify store, you can use a rich text section to boldly display a message to visitors. We'll take a look at various text formatting options, and I'll even show you how to instantly generate your text using AI. So to add a rich text section to my homepage, let's start by going to the template section from the menu on the left-hand side. From here, go ahead and click the Add Section tab at the bottom. This will open up a menu displaying all the sections that you can add to your Shopify homepage. From the list here, go ahead and select Rich Text. The Rich Text tab should then be added to the menu on the left, and you should see a preview on the right-hand side. So to customize the layout of my Rich Text section, let's click the Rich Text main tab here. This will open up a menu with various customization options. At the top here, we can select the position of our content for our desktop view. We can set the position of our content in the center, on the left, or on the right. I'm gonna stick with the center. Underneath this, we can adjust our content alignment. We have the same 3 options to align our content, which is the center, left, or the right. I think I like the center the best. Next, we can select the color scheme for our rich text section. If you click the drop-down menu here, you'll see several default color schemes that you can select from. For my online store, I think I'm gonna go with the 4th color scheme, which is a black background. Next, you can use the option here to make the section full width. This makes it so my black background goes across the entire page. And if you like, you can use the slider bars here to adjust the top and bottom padding of your section. Feel free to customize the section however you like. And once you're finished, go ahead and click the back button to go back to the theme editor main menu. So we've gone over how to customize our rich text section. Now let's go over how to add our text. If you look on the left-hand side of the Rich Text tab, you should see a drop-down arrow. Go ahead and click that now. This will display tabs for the various blocks available for the Rich Text section. Each block will represent a different element, including your heading, your body text, and your buttons. So let's select the first block here to edit my section heading. This will take you to a menu with a text box where you can add your heading. The heading you select will depend on whatever you're using your section for. I'm just going to use my Rich Text section to describe my brand. So let's just use my brand name, Quantum Designs. I think that'll work. Underneath this, you can use the drop-down menu to select a heading size. You can select to use a small, medium, large, extra large, or extra large heading. For my store, I think I'm going to go with the large. I think the large heading helps the section stand out a bit more. So once you finish adding your heading, go ahead and click the back button to go back to the theme editor main menu. So next, under the Rich Text tab, let's click the second block to add our body text. This will open up a menu with a description box where you can add your main text. You can use your Rich Text section to share any information you like with your customers, including information about your products, announcements, to promote new deals, or simply welcome shoppers to your store. If you already know what text you want to use, go ahead and add it here. But if you're like me and you're not a writer, we can easily generate our text using AI. To use AI to generate our text, let's click the Generate Text icon at the top toolbar here. This will open up a menu where we can generate our description with AI. Using the text field here, simply describe the text that you want to generate. I want to generate a description for my brand that sells apparel and home and living items for entrepreneurs. Once you describe your text, you can then use the drop-down menu here to select your text tone. There are several tones you can choose from, including expert, daring, playful, sophisticated, and more. If you like, you can even use the field at the bottom to add a custom tone. For my text tone, I think I'll go with daring. So now that I've described my text and selected a tone, let's click the Generate button on the right-hand side. The AI will then analyze my text and provide me with several suggestions that I can use for my description. Feel free to read over the various suggestions and select the one that you like best. I think I'll go with this bottom description here. Once you select the description, it'll be added to the description box on the left-hand side, and you'll see it appear in your preview on the right. So let's check out what the AI generated. It says, unleash your inner boss with our selection of empowering clothing and unique home decor pieces tailored for entrepreneurs. Not bad. I think that describes my brand pretty well. From the text field here, feel free to edit your description however you like. You can even use the toolbar to add text formatting, bullet points, and even links. But once you're finished adding your description, go ahead and click the back button to go back to the theme editor main menu. So now let's edit the last block for our rich text section, which is our buttons. If we click the buttons block, it'll take us to a menu where we can add buttons to our rich text section. Using the top text field here, we can add a label for our first button. For my button, let's have it say View Collections. And keep in mind, if you want to hide your buttons, simply leave the labels blank. Using the next field here, I can add a link to my first button. If I click the text field, it'll open up a menu where I can view all the different places that I can send shoppers to in my online store. And keep in mind, you can also paste any link that you wish into the text field. But I'm going to use the menu here and select Collections. This will take me to a menu where I can view all the collections that I've created for my online store. Since my button simply says View Collections, I'm going to select the All Collections option. Now when a customer clicks my first button, they'll be taken to a page where they can view all my collections. Using the next option here, you can select the style for your first button. You can toggle the option here to have a solid button or an outline button. For my first button, I think I'll go with the outline. Underneath this, you have the option to add a second button to your rich text section as well. If you only want to use one button, simply leave this blank. But I think I'll add a button that shoppers can click to view all my products. Your preview section should now show two buttons. And using the next field, let's select my All Products page. Now in my rich text section, shoppers can click one button to view all my collections and the other button to view all my products. So let's click the back button to go back to the theme editor main menu. So I've finished customizing my rich text section by adding my heading, a description, and my buttons. Let's see how it looks on a full screen desktop by clicking the full screen icon at the top here. And here's my new rich text section. I think it looks pretty good. Viewers can easily learn more about my store and click my buttons to view my collections and products. We can also view how it looks on mobile by clicking the mobile icon here. And here's how my rich text section will look on mobile devices. Instead of being side by side, my buttons are stacked on top of each other. So feel free to continue editing your rich text section and customize it as much as you like. And once you're finished, make sure you go up to the top right of the page and click the Save button. And my new rich text section has been saved. So I've added a rich text section to my home page. Now let's go over how to add an image with text section. With an image with text section, you can combine a selected image with supporting text and even add an optional button link to direct customers to a new page. This can be used for several purposes, such as to highlight a specific product, a collection, or even a blog post. So to add an image with text section to my home page, let's start by going to the template section from the menu on the left-hand side. From here, go ahead and click the Add Section tab at the bottom. This will open up a menu where you can view all the sections that are available to add to your home page. So from the list here, go ahead and select the Image with Text tab. You should now see the Image with Text tab in the menu on the left, and you should see a preview of the section on the right. So to customize my section, let's start by clicking the Image with Text main tab here. This will open up a menu with various customization options. At the top here, we can select the image that we want to use with our section. To select an image, let's click the Select button on the right-hand side here. This should open up a menu where you can view all the images that you've uploaded to Shopify and where you can add new images as well. To add a new image for my image with text section, let's click the Add Images button at the top here. I can then find and open up the image that I want to use. For my section, I'll be using a square image. So once your image finishes uploading, make sure you have it selected, then click the Done button at the bottom right. And my new image should now be added to my section preview. Next, if you go to the drop-down menu here, you can select your image height. You can select a small, medium, or large height, or simply have your height adapt to the image. For my homepage, I like to keep everything compact, so I'm going to go with the small height. Next, we can select our image width. The options here are small, medium, and large. I think medium looks best with my square image. Keep in mind that the image is automatically optimized for mobile. Using the next drop-down menu here, we can select our desktop image placement. We can select to show our image first or show it second. I think I like having my image shown first. Underneath this, we can use the options here to select our desktop content position. We can have our content positioned at the top, in the middle, or at the bottom. I'm going to stick with middle. And below this, we can also select our content alignment. You can align your content to the left, to the center, or to the right. I think I like the center alignment. And if you have a lot of content, you can use the content layout options here to have your content overlap or not overlap. I think I'm going to go with no overlap. And using the next drop-down menus here, you can select the color scheme for your image with text section and the color scheme for your container. There are several color schemes to choose from, so make sure you select one that best suits the style of your online store. If you like, you could also create a custom color scheme by going to your theme settings. I think I'm going to go with the gray and black color scheme. Using the next section here, we can add animation to our image. This adds a really cool attention-grabbing effect to your homepage. We have two image behavior options here, which includes ambient movement and zoom in on scroll. With ambient movement, your image will appear to move slightly on the screen. And with zoom in on scroll, the image should zoom in a bit when the viewer scrolls. For my store, I think I'm going to go with the ambient movement. Next, we can use the mobile layout section to select our mobile content alignment. To check out our mobile view, let's click the cell phone icon at the top here. So here's how the image with text section looks on mobile. Go ahead and use the mobile layout section to select your content alignment. You can align your content to the left, to the center, or to the right. I think I'm going to go with the center. And if you like, you can also use the sliders here to adjust the top and bottom padding of your section. But once you're finished customizing the layout of your image with text section, go ahead and click the back button to go back to the theme customization main menu. So now that the layout has been customized, let's go over how to update the text and our button. If you go to the Image with Text tab and look on the left-hand side, you should see a drop-down arrow. Go ahead and click that now. This will display several blocks where we can update our text and button. To update our section heading, let's click the top tab here. This will open up a menu where we can add the text for our heading and select our heading size. To change your heading, simply type in whatever you wanted to say in the text box up top. The heading you use will depend on whatever it is you're displaying in your section. For my heading, I'm just going to add the title of my product, which is a motivated beanie. Once you add your heading, you can use the drop-down menu here to select your heading size. You can select from small, medium, large, extra large, and extra extra large. I'm going to go with small. So once you finish adding your heading, go ahead and click the back button to go back to the theme customization menu. So if we go back to the Image with Text tab on the left and go down to the next block here, it'll take us to a menu where we can add the text for our description. In the content box up top, you can type in the text that you want to use for your description. Let's start by deleting this default text. If you already know the text you want to use, feel free to type it in now. But to generate my text, I'm going to use AI. To generate my text with AI, let's go to the toolbar up top and go all the way to the left-hand side and click the Generate Text icon. This will open up the Generate Content menu where you can generate any text you want using AI. In the text field here, simply describe the type of content you want to generate. For my text, I'm going to ask the AI to write a description of a warm beanie designed for motivated entrepreneurs. Once you describe the text you want to generate, you can then use the drop-down menu here to select the tone for your text. They have several default tones you can select from, and you can even add a custom tone if you like as well. For this example, let's try happy. So once you describe your text and select a tone, go ahead and go down to the bottom right and click the Generate button. And AI will then analyze your text and provide you with several content suggestions. Feel free to read over the various suggestions and select the one that you like best. I think I'm going to go with this bottom one here. Once you select the description, it'll be added to the content box on the left-hand side, and you should see it appear in your preview on the right. So let's see what the AI generated. It says, level up your winter wardrobe with our stylish beanie for entrepreneurs. I think that'll work. In the text box, you can now edit your AI content or add formatting if needed. And underneath this, you can also select your text style. You can have your description display as body text or as subtitle text. I think I'm going to stick with body text. So once you're finished adding your content, go ahead and click the back button to go back to the theme editor main menu. So the last block we have to edit under our image with text section is our button. Go ahead and click the button tab now. This will take us to a menu where we can add a button to our image with text section. At the top here, we can type in our button label. My button's going to take the viewer to view my beanie, so I'm just going to type in view product. Keep in mind, if you don't want to have a button, you can just leave this blank. Underneath this, we can add our button link. If I click the text field here, it'll open up a menu where I can select where I want to link my button to. Since I want to send the viewer to view my beanie, let's select the Products tab. This will take you to a menu where you can view all the products in your online store. Let's search through the list here and select my beanie. And there we go. Now when a customer clicks my button, they'll be taken directly to my beanie product page. And if you like, you can use the option here to change the style of your button. You can either have a solid button or an outline button. I think I'm going to go with the outline. So once you're finished customizing your button, go ahead and click the back button to go back to the theme editor main menu. So my image with text section now has an image, a heading, a description, and a button. To get a widescreen view of my section, let's click the full screen icon at the top here. And here's my image with text section. In full screen mode, you can see my image is cut off at the top, which is actually the part that shows the beanie. So that's something I'll have to update later. This is why it's a good idea to check how your online store looks on all devices. So let's click the next icon up top here and see how it looks on mobile. So this is how the image with text section looks on mobile devices. I have my image, my text, and my button. Once I update my image, everything should be good to go. So feel free to customize your image with text section as much as you like. But once you're finished, go ahead and click the Save button at the top right. And my image with text section has now been saved. So we've added an image with text section. Now let's go over how to add and customize an attention-grabbing image banner. An image banner features a large eye-catching image which can also include text and clickable buttons. Image banners are designed to grab shoppers' attention as soon as they land on your site, so they should typically be placed near the top of your homepage. So to add an image banner to my homepage, let's go to the template menu on the left-hand side and click the Add Section tab. This will open up a menu where we can view all the sections we can add to our homepage. From the list here, go ahead and scroll down and select the Image Banner tab. The Image Banner tab should now be added to the menu on the left, and you should see a preview of the section on the right. So to personalize and customize the layout of my image banner, let's click the Image Banner main tab here. This will take us to a menu where we can add our images and customize our banner. With the Spotlight theme, we can have our banner display one image or two images side by side. So let's start by adding my first image by clicking the Select button at the top here. This should open up our image library. Here's where you can view all the images you've uploaded to Shopify and where you can add new images as well. If you only plan to use one image for your banner, I recommend using an image size of 1920 by 1080 pixels to ensure the best resolution. And for the image format, I recommend JPEG for faster load times. So to upload my banner image, let's click the Add Images button at the top here. I can then find and open up the image I want to use with my banner. Once your image finishes uploading, make sure you have it selected, then click the Done button at the bottom right. And your new image should now be available in your preview. If you notice my image here, I have my products placed on the outer edges. This is so the main parts of my image aren't blocked by the banner content. If you wanted to adjust the transparency of your image, you can use the image overlay opacity slider bar here. But I think I'm going to leave mine as is. Underneath this, we can use the drop-down menu to select our banner height. We can have the height adapt to the first image, have a small banner, a medium banner, or a large banner. For my banner, I think I'm going to stick with medium. And using the next drop-down menu here, we can select our desktop content position. There are tons of options to choose from, such as top left, top center, middle right, bottom center, and more. Your content position should be based on your banner image. You want to place it to where it's not covering up important areas. So since all my products are on the sides, I'm going to go with middle center. Having my content here still allows my products to be seen. So now let's go down to the next options here and select our desktop content alignment. We can select to align our content to the left, to the right, or in the center. I think I like the center. And underneath this, we can use the drop-down menu to select the color scheme for our content. There are several color schemes to choose from, so make sure you select one that best matches the style of your store. And if you wanted to create a custom color scheme, you can do that in your theme settings. Using the next drop-down menu here, we can add animation to our banner. For our image behavior, we can have none, ambient movement, a fixed background position, or have it zoom in on scroll. For my image behavior, I think I'm going to go with the ambient movement. Now if you look at my banner, you can see that the image is slightly moving around. This adds a subtle yet attention-grabbing effect. So using the next section here, we can adjust our mobile layout. To see how your image banner looks on mobile, go ahead and click the mobile icon at the top of the page here. And here's how my image banner looks on mobile devices. We have my image at the top and my content at the bottom. You want to check to see how your banner looks on all devices to see if you need to make any changes. For example, the products in my image are barely seen on the sides, and I think I need to add something in the middle for the mobile view. I'll change this shortly, but let's use the mobile layout section to update our mobile content alignment. Using the options here, we can align our content to the center, to the left, or to the right. For my image banner, I think the center looks the best. And if you're using two images with your banner, you can use the next option here to stack the images on mobile. I think I'm going to update my banner with two images, so let's keep this enabled. And underneath this, we can select whether or not to show our container on mobile. If this is disabled, your content will move on top of your image, which may make it hard to see. I'm going to keep mine enabled to make sure everything's easy to read. So to go back to our desktop view, let's click the icon up top here. So from the customization menu on the left, let's scroll back up to the top to view the image options. So we've just seen how the image banner looks with a single image, so let's see how it looks when we add two images. Let's start by changing this first image by clicking the Change tab on the front of the image here. From the drop-down menu, go ahead and select the first option, which is Select from Library. And of course, this will open up your image library. This time, since I'll be adding two images that are displayed side by side, I'm going to be uploading square images that are both 1080 by 1080 pixels each. So to upload my first image, let's click the Add Images button at the top here. I can then find and open up the image that I want to use. Once your image finishes uploading, make sure you have it selected, then click the Done button at the bottom right. And my new image has been added. Since I've only added one image for now, it's currently taking up the entire background. So to add my second image, let's click the Select button here. I can then go through the exact same process to upload my second image. And once you add your second image, your images should display side by side in your banner. I think that looks pretty good. So feel free to personalize the layout of your banner as much as you like. But once you're finished, go ahead and click the back button to go back to the theme editor main menu. So we finished customizing the layout of our image banner. Now let's go over how to update our text and our buttons. If you look at the image banner tab in the menu, you should see a drop down arrow on the left hand side. Go ahead and click that now. This will open up a drop down menu displaying several blocks. We can use these to edit the heading for our image banner, the description, and our buttons. So to change our heading, let's click the top block here. This will open up a menu where we can edit our heading. Using the text field up top, go ahead and type in the heading that you want to use for your banner. The heading you use will depend on whatever it is you're promoting. I'm going to be promoting my hat collection, so let's have my heading say Hustle Headwear. Once you add your heading, you can use the drop-down menu underneath to select your heading size. The sizes range from small to extra large. Feel free to select whatever size that you like best. For my banner, I'm going to go with medium. So once you're finished adding your heading, go ahead and click the back button to go back to the theme editor main menu. So next, let's go back to the Image Banner tab and go down to the next block to edit our description. This will open up a menu where we can add our description text. Using the text field up top, feel free to type in the description that you want to use for your banner. Or if you're like me and you're not a writer, we can actually have AI generate the description for us. To do this, let's go to the toolbar up top and click the Generate Text icon. This will open up a menu where we can have AI generate our description. Using the text field here, simply describe what you want the AI to generate. I'm going to have the AI generate a description for hats, beanies, and other headwear designed for entrepreneurs. Once you describe what you want, you can use the drop-down menu here to select the tone for your text. They have several default tones you can select from, and you can even add a custom tone. For my description, I think I'm going to try daring. So once you've described the text that you want and selected a tone, go ahead and click the Generate button at the bottom right. The AI will then analyze your text and provide you with several suggestions for your description. Feel free to read over the various options and select the one that you like best. I think I'm going to go with this top description here. When you select the description, the text will be added to the description box on the left, and you should see the text appear in the preview on the right. So let's see what the AI came up with. It says, equip yourself with our bold hats and beanies inspired by the entrepreneurial spirit. Stand out in style today. Not bad. From the text box on the left, feel free to edit your text and add formatting if you like as well. And once you're finished adding your text, you can also use the drop-down menu underneath to select your text style. You can select to have your text display as body text, as subtitle text, or in all uppercase. I think I'm just going to stick with body text. So once you're finished adding your description, go ahead and click the back button to go back to the theme editor main menu. So the last block we have under our image banner tab is our buttons. Let's click that now. This will open up a menu where you can select to add 1 or 2 buttons to your image banner. Using the top text field here, you can add the label for your first button. Keep in mind, if you don't want to add a button, simply leave this blank. But I'm going to add a button to send shoppers to my product, so let's add the label Trucker Cap. Once you add your button label, you can use the next text field here to add the link for your button. If you click the text field, it'll open up a drop-down menu where you can select various places in your online store where you can send the shopper to. So to add a link to my Trucker Cap, let's select the Products tab. This will open up a list displaying all the products that are available in your Shopify store. So let's scroll through the list here and find my Trucker Cap. There we go. Now when a customer clicks my first button, they'll be taken directly to the product page. For my second button, let's go ahead and repeat the process, but this time I'm going to send them to view my headwear collection. And at the bottom of each section, you can also change your button style. For my second button, let's select the option here to change it to an outline. And there we go. My button has now been changed to an outline style in my preview. So once you're finished adding your buttons, go ahead and click the back button to go back to the theme editor main menu. So I'm finished customizing my image banner section. I have my banner image, my heading, my description, and my buttons. To see how it looks on widescreen, let's click the full screen icon at the top here. So here's how my image banner looks on widescreen. I think this looks pretty good. I have my 2 images side by side, and my product can be clearly seen on both the models. Let's see how it looks on mobile devices by clicking the mobile icon at the top here. So here's how my image banner looks on mobile. I think this looks pretty cool. I have my first image at the top, my content in the middle, and my second image at the bottom. Shoppers can read about my headwear and click my buttons to view my product or view my entire hats collection. So feel free to customize your image banner section as much as you like. But once you're finished, go ahead and click the Save button at the top right. And my new image banner has been saved. So we've gone over how to add an image banner to your homepage. Now let's go over how to add an auto-rotating image slideshow. A slideshow is a section that can cycle through a series of selected images or slides, usually accompanied with supporting text, and can also include an optional button. You can use a slideshow to showcase products, promote offers, highlight a collection, or even tell your brand story. So let's go over how to add an image slideshow to my homepage. From the theme customization menu, let's go to the template section on the left-hand side. At the bottom, go ahead and click the Add Section tab. This will open up a menu where you can view all the different sections that you can add to your Shopify homepage. From the list here, go ahead and select the Slideshow tab. The Slideshow tab should now be added to the template section on the left, and you should see a preview of the section on the right. As you can see, the image slide will have a background image, a heading, a description, and a button. So let's start by customizing the layout of our slideshow section by clicking the Slideshow main tab here. This will open up a menu where we can personalize our slideshow. At the top here, we can select our layout. We can select a full width layout, or a grid layout. The grid layout will have a bit of empty space on the sides. For my layout, I think I'll go with full width. Using the next drop-down menu here, we can select our slide height. We can have a medium banner, a small banner, a large banner, or have the height adapt to the first image. I like to keep things compact, so I think I'm going to go with small. Underneath this, we can use the drop-down menu to select our pagination style. This will be the style of your slideshow navigation at the bottom of your slides. You can select to have a counter, dots, or numbers. I think I'm going to go with the dots. And using the next option here, we can select to have our slides auto-rotate. If you enable the tab here and add multiple slides to your slideshow, they'll auto-rotate on your homepage. And to select the timing of your auto-rotation, you can use the slider bar here. The default is to display each slide for 5 seconds, but I'm going to move it down to 3 seconds to speed it up for demonstration purposes. And in the animation section, we can use the drop-down menu to select our image behavior. Here we have the option to add ambient movement to our image, which provides a really cool attention-grabbing effect. When we add our images, they'll appear to move around slightly on the screen. In the next section here, we can adjust our mobile layout. To view how our slideshow section looks on mobile, let's click the mobile icon at the top here. By default, your content will be shown below your image, but if you change your mobile layout, it'll be shown on top of your image. This can be kind of hard to see sometimes, so I'm going to keep my content below my image. And if you like, you can use the accessibility section to add a slideshow description. This is just a short description that describes your slideshow for customers using a screen reader. So feel free to personalize the format of your slideshow as much as you like. But once you're finished, go ahead and click the back button to go back to the theme editor main menu. So now that I've customized the layout of my slideshow section, let's go over how to add my first image slide. If you look underneath the slideshow tab, you should see 2 default image slide blocks. Let's click the first block to add my first slide. This will open up a menu where we can add the image for our slide and our slide content. So first, to add the image for my slide, let's click the select button at the top here. This should open up our image library. Here's where you can view all the images you've uploaded to Shopify and where you can add new images as well. For the best resolution, I recommend an image size of 1920 by 1080 pixels. And for the image format, I recommend JPEG for faster load times. So to upload my image, let's click the Add Images button here. I can then find and open up the image that I want to use for my slide. If you like, feel free to go ahead and upload all the slide images that you plan to use. Your slideshow section can display up to 5 images. So let's select the image that I plan to use for my first slide and click the Done button at the bottom right. And the image has been added to my first slide. For this slide in my slideshow, I'll be promoting my clothing and apparel collection. So in the heading text box underneath, let's type in a heading for my slide. I'm going to keep it simple and type in clothing and apparel. And underneath this, we can use the drop-down menu to select a heading size. You can select any size you like from small to extra large. The size you select will depend on the style of your store and the amount of text. For my slide heading, I think I'm going to go with small. Using the next text field here, we can add a subheading to our slide. Your subheading is the text that appears right beneath your heading. So feel free to type in whatever subheading that you want to use. But for my subheading, I'm going to generate it using AI. To use AI to generate your subheading, go ahead and click the Generate Text icon at the top toolbar here. This will open up a menu where we can generate our subheading. So in the text field here, simply describe the text that you want to generate. For my slide, I'm going to ask the AI to generate a subheading for a clothing and apparel collection for entrepreneurs. Once you describe the text you want, you can use the drop-down menu underneath to select the tone for your text. There are several default tones you can select from, and you can enter a custom tone if you like as well. For my tone, I think I'll go with persuasive. So now that I've described my text and selected a tone, let's click the Generate button at the bottom right. The AI will then analyze our text and provide us with several subheading suggestions that we can select from. Feel free to read over the suggestions and select the one that you like best. When you select a subheading, it'll be added to the text field on the left, and you'll see it appear in the preview on the right. So let's see what the AI came up with. It says, empower your entrepreneur spirit with our stylish clothing and apparel collection. I think that'll work. And from the text field, feel free to change the text or add formatting if you like as well. And once we finish adding our subheading, we can then add our button. To add our button, simply type in a button label. Keep in mind, if you don't want to show a button, you can simply leave this blank. But for my button, I'm going to add the label View Collection. And when you add your label, you should see it update in the preview on the right. And underneath this, we can use the field here to add the link for our button. If you click the text field, it'll open up a menu where you can select where you want to send the shopper to. So for my slide, let's select the Collections tab at the top, then select my Clothing and Apparel collection. Now when a shopper clicks my button, they'll be taken directly to my Clothing and Apparel collection. And using the next option here, we can select our button style. We can select to have a solid button or an outline. I think I'm going to go with the solid button. And underneath this, we can use the drop-down menu to select our desktop content position. You can select pretty much any position that you like, such as top left, top right, middle right, bottom right, or anything else. You can select pretty much any position that you like, but when selecting your position, keep in mind you don't want your content to block the main parts of your image. For my slides, I typically just go with the middle center. Using the next option here, we can select whether or not to show our content container. This will remove the background from your content. Sometimes this can make your text hard to see, so I typically like to leave this enabled. And to select our desktop content alignment, we can use the options here. We can align our content to the center, to the left, or to the right. This will depend on the style of your slides, but I'm just going to go with the center. And if you want to change the opacity of your image, you can use the slider bar here. This is great to have your image fade out a bit in the background to highlight your content more. I think I'll put mine around 10%. And using the color scheme drop-down menu, we can select the color scheme for our slide. There are several color schemes to choose from, so feel free to select the one you like best. Also, if you want to create a custom color scheme, you can do that in your theme settings. For my slide, I'm just going to stick with the first color scheme. And underneath this, we can select our mobile layout. To see how my slide looks on mobile, let's click the mobile icon at the top here. And here's how my slideshow will look on mobile devices. I have my image at the top and my content underneath. And at the very bottom, I have my dots for navigation. So for your mobile layout, you can select to show your content underneath your image or on top of your image. This can be hard to see, so let's leave it underneath. So feel free to customize your first slide as much as you like. And when you're finished, go ahead and click the back button to go back to the theme editor main menu. So I've finished adding the content for my first slide. Now let's add the content for my second slide. To do this, let's go back to the Slideshow tab and click the second image slide block here. I can then go through the same process to add the content for my second slide. Go ahead and add your image, your heading, your subheading, and your button. For this slide, I'll be promoting my hats and beanies collection. So the slideshow for my online store now has 2 slides. But with our slideshow, we can have up to 5 slides. So to add a new slide, let's hover our mouse right underneath one of the blocks here. This should pull up the Add Slide icon. Let's click that now. This will add a new image slide block to your slideshow. You can now open it up and customize your slide just like we did with the other 2. So now my slideshow has 3 slides. One for my home and living collection, one for my clothing and apparel collection, and one for my headwear collection. I think it looks pretty good. To see how it looks on widescreen, let's click the full screen icon at the top here. As you can see, in full screen mode, a lot more of my image can be seen. Let's also check how it looks on mobile devices by clicking the mobile icon at the top. You want to make sure to check how your slideshow looks on all devices to see if you need to make any changes. I may add something to the middle of my images here for the mobile view, but for now, I think this looks good. So if everything looks good, go ahead and go to the top right of the page and click the Save button. And my new slideshow has been saved. So I've finished adding a slideshow to my homepage. Now let's go over how to add a dynamic multimedia collage. A collage is a section where media can be arranged together to create a visually appealing display. It can include an image, a link to a product or collection, and even a video. Collages can be great for visual storytelling, or can be used as an engaging way to showcase multiple products in one place. So let's go over how to add a multimedia collage to my Shopify homepage. From the menu on the left, let's start by going to the template section, and down at the very bottom, go ahead and click the Add Section tab. This will open up a menu where you can view all the various sections that are available to add to your Shopify homepage. From the list here, go ahead and select Collage. The Collage tab will then be added to the template menu on the left, and you'll also see a preview of the section on the right. So let's start by customizing the layout of our collage. To customize our layout, let's click the Collage main tab here. This will open up a menu where we can adjust our settings and personalize our collage layout. At the top here, we can use the text field to add a heading for our collage. The heading you use will depend on whatever it is you're promoting, but for my collage, I'm going to promote my home and living collection. Once you add your heading, you can use the drop-down menu underneath to select your heading size. You can select any size from small to extra large, but for my heading, I'm just going to go with medium. And underneath this, we can select our desktop layout. If we click the drop-down menu, we can select to have our large block on the left or on the right. Feel free to select whichever layout you like, but for my collage, I think I like my large block on the left. After you select your desktop layout, you can then go down and select your mobile layout. To see how my collage looks on mobile, let's click the mobile icon at the top here. So here's how my collage looks on mobile. By default, the blocks are arranged in a column, but if we like, we can use the mobile layout section to change it to a collage. Now my large block is at the top, and my smaller blocks are in a row at the bottom. I like the collage better because it's much more compact. So next, we can use the drop-down menu here to select our card style. You can style all your blocks as product cards, or use individual card styles. Let's just style them all as product cards. And using the next drop-down menu here, we can select our color scheme. You can select from several default color schemes, or create a custom color scheme in your theme settings. I think I'll just go with this color scheme here. And under section padding, you can use the slider bars here to adjust the padding at the top and bottom of your section. So feel free to customize the layout of your collage as much as you like. But once you're finished, go ahead and click the back button to go back to the theme editor main menu. So now that I've finished customizing the layout of my collage section, let's go over how to add my media. If you look underneath your collage tab here, you should see several blocks. By default, an image block, a product block, and a collection block should already be enabled. So let's start by customizing my large image block by clicking the image tab here. This will take us to a menu where we can add our image. The image will be displayed in the large block in your collage. To add our image, let's click the select button at the top. This will open up your image library. So for your collage image, I recommend uploading a square image at least 800 by 800 pixels. But for the best results, I recommend using an image size of 2048 by 2048 pixels. And for your image format, I recommend JPEG. So to add my image, let's click the Add Images tab at the top here. I can then find and open up the image I want to use with my collage. Once your image finishes uploading, make sure you have it selected, then click the Done button at the bottom right. And my image has been added to my collage. With this image, I'll be promoting my entrepreneur flip-flops. So once you're finished adding your image, go ahead and click the back button to go back to the theme editor main menu. So the next block we have under our collage tab is our product block. This will be the block here where we can add a product that customers can view. So to add a product to our block, go ahead and click the product tab on the left-hand side. This will open up a menu where we can add our product. So to add my product, let's click the select button at the top. A menu will then open up displaying all the different products that you've added to your Shopify store. If you like, you can also add a new product by clicking the Create Product tab at the top. So since I've already added an image of my entrepreneur flip-flops, let's add the product here so customers can click and view it. There we go. Now my product block shows the product image, the product title, and the price. And when customers click it, they should be taken directly to the product page. And if your product has multiple images, you can use the option here to show the second image when the customer hovers over it. So once you add your product, go ahead and click the back button to go back to the theme editor main menu. So in the third block in my collage here, I can add a collection. Since the product I'm promoting is a home and living item, I'm going to add my home and living collection. So to select a collection for my collage, let's click the collection tab on the left-hand side. This will take us to the menu where we can add our collection. To add a collection, let's click the select button at the top. This will open up a menu where you can view all the collections that you've created on Shopify. If you want to create a new collection, you can do that by clicking the tab at the top here. But for my collage block, let's select my home and living collection. And my home and living collection has been added to my collage. Now when a customer clicks the block, they'll be taken directly to a page where they can view the products in the collection. So let's click the back button to go back to the theme editor main menu. So all three blocks have now been added to my collage. I have my image, my product, and my collection. You could roll with this, but if you like, you could add a video to your collage as well. But with your collage, you can only have 3 blocks. So to add a video, let's remove my collection block. To do this, simply click the trash can icon on the right-hand side of the tab. There we go. Now to add a third block, simply hover your mouse underneath one of the blocks and click the Add Block icon. This will open up a menu where you can select which block to add. There are 4 options here, and the last option is a video. Let's select this to add it to my collage. And the video tab should be added to the menu on the left, and you should see a preview of the block on the right. If we try to add another block to our collage, we can see it's grayed out because we've reached our maximum of 3. But if you chose the video block, simply click the video tab to add your video. From the menu here, you can add a cover image for your video URL, and your video alt text. To add your video link, you'll first have to upload your video to YouTube, then copy the link and paste it here. And since our collage contains other blocks, our video will be played as a pop-up. But for my collage, I want to add my collection. So let's go back and remove the video. I can now select the add block icon and add my collection back to my collage. So I finished customizing my collage, so let's see how it looks on widescreen by clicking the full screen icon at the top here. So here's how my collage looks on widescreen. As you can see, we can see more of my main image. I think it looks pretty good. So feel free to continue customizing your collage as much as you like. But once you're finished, go ahead and go up to the top right of the page and click the save button. And my new collage has been saved. So we've gone over how to add a multimedia collage to your homepage. Now let's go over how to add an eye-catching multi-column. A multi-column is a section that allows you to display selected content in multiple vertical columns. Not only are the multi-columns visually appealing, but also a great way to provide information to shoppers in a more structured and organized way. So to add a multi-column to my Shopify homepage, let's start by going to the template section from the menu on the left. At the bottom, go ahead and click the Add Section tab. This will open up a menu displaying all the different sections you can add to your homepage. From the list here, go ahead and select Multi-Column. The Multi-Column tab should then be added to the menu on the left, and you should see a preview of the section on the right. So as you can see, the Multi-Column section features several text columns that can be paired with images. You can use the columns to showcase whatever you like, whether it's a product, a collection, or even a blog post. So to customize the layout of our Multi-Column section, let's click the Multi-Column main tab here. This will take us to a menu where we can customize our multi-column section. At the top here, we can use the text field to add a heading. I'm going to be showcasing the different product types that are available in my store, so let's add the heading What We Offer. Underneath this, we can use the drop-down menu to select the heading size. There are several sizes to choose from, ranging from small to extra large. This will depend on your personal preference, but I'm going to go with medium. And later, we'll have the ability to add images to our columns, so let's use the next drop-down menus here to select our image width and image ratio. If we click the image width drop-down menu, we can have our image showing 1/3 width of the column, half width of the column, or the full width of the column. We can change this later after we add our images, but for now, I'm going to go with full width of the column. And for the image ratio, I'm going to leave it on Adapt to Image. Underneath this, we can select the number of columns to display on desktop. You can move the slider left or right to change the number of columns, but I think I'm just going to stick with 3. And using the next option here, you can select your column alignment. You can align the content of your column to the left or in the center. For my columns, I'm going to go with the left. And using the next drop-down menu here, we can select whether or not to show our secondary background as a column background. With none selected, you can see the background is all the same color. But when I select Show as Column Background, the column backgrounds are highlighted. I'm going to select the Show as Column Background option. Next, we can use the text fields here to add a button to our multi-column. If I scroll down to the bottom of my multi-column preview, I should see my button preview as well. So to enable my button, let's add a button label to the text field here. I'm going to have my button send customers to view my product collections. So let's add the label View Collections. And underneath this, we can add our button link. To add our link, simply click the text field and it'll open up a menu where you can select where to send the shopper to. Since I want to send shoppers to view my product collections, let's select the Collections tab. Then I'm going to select All Collections. Now when a customer clicks my button, they'll be taken to a page where they can view all my product collections. And using the next drop-down menu here, we can select the color scheme for our multi-column section. There are several default color schemes to choose from, so feel free to select the one you like best. If you want to create a custom color scheme, you can do that in your theme settings. For my multi-column section, I think I like this third color scheme here. And underneath this, we can adjust our mobile layout. To see how our section looks on mobile, let's click the mobile icon at the top here. So as you can see, the section is currently arranged in one column. But using the option in the mobile layout section here, we can change it to 2 columns if we like. And this can actually look pretty cool once we add images, but for my mobile layout, I'm going to stick with 1 column. And if you want to enable swipe on mobile, you can select the option here. This will allow viewers to swipe through your various columns instead of having to scroll. This can add an interactive element to your homepage and save some space. If we go back to the view here, it's still showing the slideshow, but to see how our multi-column looks on desktop, we can click the full screen icon. So shoppers can swipe on mobile, but on desktop, they can see all 3 of my columns. And if you like, you can use the section padding slider bars here to adjust the top and bottom padding of your section. But once you're finished personalizing your multi-column, go ahead and click the back button to go back to the theme editor main menu. So now that I've finished customizing the section layout, let's go over how to add content to my columns. To edit my first column, let's go to the multi-column section and click the first column block here. This will take us to a menu where we can add an image, our text, and a button to our column. So at the top here, we can start by adding an image. To add an image, let's click the select button here. This will take you to your image library where you can add new images to Shopify. For my column image sizes, I'll be using images that are 1400 by 440 pixels. To upload an image for my column, let's click the Add Images button at the top. You can then find and open up the image that you want to use. Once it finishes uploading, make sure you have it selected, then click the Done button at the bottom right. And my image has been added to my column. So now that I've added my image, let's move down to the next section here where I can add my heading. To add your heading, simply type it into the text field here. For this column, I'll be promoting my clothing and apparel collection. When you add your heading, you should see it appear in the preview on the right as well. And in the next section here, we can add our description. If you're good at copywriting, feel free to go ahead and type your description into the text field here. But for my description, I'm going to generate it using AI. To use AI to generate our text, let's click the Generate Text icon at the top toolbar here. This will open up a menu where we can describe the text that we want the AI to generate. For my text, I want the AI to generate a description for our clothing and apparel collection for entrepreneurs and hustlers. And using the drop-down menu underneath, you can also select a tone for your text. There are several default tones you can select from, and you can also add a custom tone if you like as well. For this example, I think I'll go with a playful tone. So now that I've described the text that I want and selected a tone, let's click the Generate button at the bottom right. The AI will then analyze my text and provide me with several descriptions that I can select from. Feel free to read over the various descriptions and select the one that you like best. For my column description, I think I'm going to go with this top option here. When you select a description, you'll see it added to the description box on the left, and you'll see it appear in the preview on the right. So let's see what the AI came up with. It says, dress like a boss with our clothing collection for entrepreneurs and hustlers. Stay stylish while chasing those dreams. Not bad, catchy and to the point. If you like, feel free to edit your description in the text field on the left. But if we move down to the next section here, we can add a clickable link to our column. Keep in mind, if you don't want to add a link, simply leave this blank. But for my column, I'm going to add a link that customers can click to view my collection. When you type in your link label, you should see it appear in your preview. So if we click the next text field here, it'll open up a menu where we can select where we want to send the shopper to. To send shoppers to my clothing and apparel collection, let's select the Collections tab, then select my clothing and apparel collection. Now when a customer clicks my link, they'll be taken to a page where they can view my clothing and apparel collection. So once you're finished adding content for your first column, go ahead and click the back button to go back to the theme editor main menu. So the first column in my multi-column has been set up to showcase my clothing and apparel collection. So to customize my second column, let's click the second column block here. I can then go through the same process to add the content for my second column. For this column, I'll be showcasing my hats and headwear collection. Let's add my image, my heading, my description, and my link. And for my multi-column, I have 3 blocks, so let's click the third column block here and add the content. For this column, I'll be showcasing my home and living collection. So I finished adding content to all 3 columns in my multi-column section. To see how it looks on desktop, let's click the full screen icon at the top here. And here's how my multi-column section looks on desktop. I have my main heading at the top and my 3 columns. Each column showcases a different collection, and if they go down to the bottom, they can click the button to view all my collections. I think it looks pretty good. So let's go up to the top here and click the mobile icon to see how it looks on mobile devices. So here's how my multi-column looks on mobile. Instead of viewing all 3 columns at the same time, shoppers can simply swipe through the columns. I think this is a much better layout for mobile so customers don't have to keep scrolling up the home page. By default, your multi-column should have 3 columns, but if you wanted to add another column, you could easily do that by hovering your mouse underneath one of the columns, and then click the Add Column icon. A new column will then be added to your multi-column section. You can then customize your new column just like you did with the others. But for my multi-column section, I only want 3 columns, so let's delete this one. So once you finish customizing your multi-column section, go up to the top right of the page and click the Save button. And your new multi-column section has been added to your home page. So we've gone through the process to add a multi-column to our home page. Now let's go over how to add a multi-row section. A multi-row allows you to add multiple rows of content to a single section, which can include an image on one side and text and a button link on the other. Multi-rows are a great way to display testimonials, similar products, or other content all within a single section on your homepage. So to add a multi-row to my homepage, let's go to the template menu on the left-hand side and go all the way down to the bottom to the Add Section tab. If we click this, it'll open up a menu where we can view all the different sections that we can add to our homepage. From the list here, go ahead and select the Multi-Row tab. The Multi-Row tab should then be added to your menu on the left, and you should see a preview of the section on the right. As you can see, the Multi-Row is a cool section that has several images paired with text and a button. Each row is arranged in a stylish layout, making them easy to view for shoppers. So let's start by customizing the layout of our multi-row section. To do this, go ahead and click the Multi-Row tab on the left. This will open up a menu with several options to personalize your multi-row section. At the top here, we can use the drop-down menu to select our image height. We can select a small, medium, or large height, or have the height adapt to whatever image we upload. For my image height, I'm going to stick with small. Once you select your image height, we can use the next options here to select our desktop image width. We can select to have a medium width, a large width, or a small width. Also, keep in mind that the image is automatically optimized for mobile. For my width, I'm going to go with medium. And underneath this, we can use the drop-down menu to select our heading size. If we click the heading size drop-down menu, there are several sizes to choose from, ranging from small to extra large. Your heading size will depend on the style of your section and the amount of text. For my heading, I'm going to go with medium. And underneath this, we can select our text style. We can have our text display as body text or as subtitle text. To see the differences in the styles, you can check out your preview. But for my style, I'm going to stick with body. And using the next drop-down menu here, we can select our button style. We can select to display an outline button or a solid button. I think I like the solid button style. Next, we can use the options here to select the position of our content on desktop. We can have our content display in the middle, on the top, or at the bottom. I'm going to stick with middle. And underneath this, we can select our desktop content alignment. By default, our content is aligned to the left, but we can also align it to the center or to the right. I think I like my content on the left. And underneath this, we can use the drop-down menu to select our desktop image placement. If we click the drop-down menu here, we can select to have our images alternate from the left, alternate from the right, or have all your images aligned to the left or to the right. This will depend on the style of your store, but I like to have my images alternate to add a dynamic effect to my homepage. And I actually want the image in my top row to be shown first, so let's have it alternate from the left. There we go. And underneath this, we can use the drop-down menus here to select the color scheme for our section and the color scheme for our container. There are several default color schemes to choose from, and if you like, you can create a custom color scheme in your theme settings. Make sure you select colors that best match your brand and the style of your store. For my multi-row section, I think I'm going to go with the black and gray color scheme. And using the next options here, we can select our mobile layout. To check out our mobile view, let's go up to the top here and click the mobile icon. And here's how my multi-row section will look on mobile. For each row, I have my image at the top, my text underneath, and my button at the bottom. Using the options here, we can adjust our mobile content alignment. We can align our content to the left, to the center, or to the right. For my mobile view, I think I want my content aligned in the center. And at the bottom here, we can use the slider bars to adjust the top and bottom padding of our section. Feel free to adjust this if you like, but once you're finished, go ahead and click the back button to go back to the theme editor main menu. So now that we're done personalizing the layout of our multi-row section, let's go over how to add content to our rows. Under the multi-row tab, there are 3 row blocks enabled by default. To edit my first row here, let's look under the multi-row tab on the left and click the first row block. This will open up a menu where you can add content to your row. To add our image, let's click the select button at the top here. This will open up your image library. For my row images, I'll be using square images with the dimensions of 2000 by 2000 pixels. This will ensure the images are high resolution and all the details can be seen. To upload an image to use for my row, let's click the Add Images button at the top. I can then find and open up the image I want to use. Once it finishes uploading, make sure you have it selected, then click the Done button at the bottom right. And my image has been added to my first row. For this row, I'll be promoting my drinkware, so I added an image of one of my coffee cups. So next, let's add a caption to my row. To add a caption, simply type in the caption that you want to use into the caption text field here. For this row, I'm going to add the caption drinkware. And underneath this, we can use the text box to add a heading to our row. For my drinkware heading, let's get a little creative and add the heading Sip in Style. And underneath this, we can use the text field to add our description. If you want to write your description yourself, feel free to type it in here. But for my description, I'm going to generate it using AI. So to use AI to generate my description text, let's click the Generate Text icon at the top toolbar. This will open up a window where you can tell the AI what type of text you want to generate. So in the text field here, let's ask the AI to generate a description for awesome coffee mugs and other drinkware for entrepreneurs. And if you like, you could use the drop-down menu here to select the tone for your text. I'm just going to leave mine on Expert. So once you describe the text that you want and select the tone, go ahead and click the Generate button. And after a few moments, the AI will provide you with several description suggestions that you can select from. Feel free to read over the various descriptions and select the one that you like best. When you select a description, it'll be added to the text field on the left, and you'll see it appear in the preview on the right. So let's see what the AI came up with. It says, fuel your ambition with premium drinkware tailored for busy innovators. Not bad. If you like, you can edit the text using the text field on the left. Let's change innovators to creators. And once you finish adding your description, you can use the last two fields here to add a button for your row. First, let's use the top field here to add a button label. For my button, I'm going to send shoppers to view my coffee mugs, so I'm going to add the label View Products. And if we click the button link text field, we can select the page where we want to send the shopper to in our online store. Since I want to send shoppers to view my coffee mugs, let's select the Products tab. This will pull up a list of all the products that I've added to Shopify. Let's scroll through the list here and select my coffee mug. There we go. Now when a customer clicks my button, they'll be taken to my coffee mug product page. So feel free to continue customizing your row as much as you like, but once you're finished, go ahead and click the back button to go back to the theme editor main menu. So I finished customizing my first row, so let's go through the same process to customize my second row. To do this, let's click the second row block here. And just like before, I can add my image, my text, and my button. For this row, I'll be showcasing my hats and beanies collection. And I also have a third row block here, so let's add content to this row as well. For this row, let's promote my office items. I think that'll work. So I've added content to all three of the default rows in my multi-row section. I have one row promoting my drinkware, one promoting my headwear, and one promoting my office items. Your multi-row section will have 3 rows by default, but if you wanted to add another row, you could easily do this as well. To add a new row, simply hover your mouse underneath one of the rows here, and you should see the Add Row icon appear. To add a new row, simply click the icon. And another row has been added to my multi-row section. I can now customize and add content to my row just like the others. But if you wanted to delete a row, simply go to the right hand side here and click the little trash can icon, and your selected row will be removed. So I've finished customizing my multi-row section. To see how it looks on widescreen, let's click the full screen icon at the top here. And here's how my multi-row section will look on a widescreen desktop. I really like how the images alternate from left to right. It really adds some style to the section. And to see how it looks on mobile, let's click the mobile icon at the top here. As you can see, the mobile layout looks a bit different, with the images on top, the text underneath, and the button at the bottom. This makes things easier to see and navigate on mobile. So feel free to customize your multi-row section as much as you like, but once you're finished, go up to the top right here and click the Save button. And your multi-row section will be added to your homepage. So we've gone over how to add a multi-row. Now let's go over how to add a collapsible content section to your Shopify homepage. A collapsible content section allows you to display information or messages to shoppers that can be expanded or collapsed to hide or show the content. Viewers can simply click on a collapsible content header to either reveal or hide the text beneath it. This provides a cleaner, more organized way to show information and can help enhance user experience. So to add a collapsible content section to my Shopify homepage, let's go to the template menu on the left-hand side. At the bottom, you should see the Add Section tab. Go ahead and click that now. This will display a menu showing you all the different sections that are available to add to your homepage. From the list here, go ahead and select the Collapsible Content tab. The Collapsible Content tab should then be added to the template menu on the left, and you should see a preview of the section on the right. With the collapsible rows, this is a great section for displaying information or facts to customers in an organized way. So first, let's personalize the layout of our collapsible content section. To do this, go ahead and click the Collapsible Content main tab on the left-hand side. This will open up a menu with several customization options. At the top here, we can add a caption to our section. To add a caption, simply type in your text into the text field here. I'm just going to use the caption "Learn More." In the preview on the right, your caption will appear right above your heading. And to change your heading, you can use the heading text field right underneath here. The heading you use will depend on whatever it is you're displaying in your section. For this example, I'm just going to provide some general information. So for my heading, I'm going to add the text "Thanks for shopping with us." And using the next drop-down menu here, we can select our heading size. We can select any size that we like, from small to extra large. This will depend on the style of your store and the amount of text, but for my heading size, I'm going to go with medium. And underneath this, we can select our heading alignment. We can have our heading aligned in the center, to the left, or to the right. I'm going to stick with the center. And if we go down to the next drop-down menu, we can select our layout. We have 3 options here, which is no container, to have a container for our rows, or a container for our entire section. You can use the preview on the right to see how the various layouts look. For my section, I think I'm going to keep things simple and go with no container. And underneath this, we can use the next 2 drop-down menus here to select our color scheme. Using the top drop-down menu, you can select the color scheme for your entire section. And if you added a container, you can use the second drop-down menu to select the container color scheme. There are several default color schemes you can choose from, and you can create a custom color scheme in your theme settings. I think I'm going to stick with the first color scheme. And if you select the option here, you can have your first collapsible row open by default. This will make it so that when a customer scrolls to your section, the content for the first row will be displayed so they can view it. For my section, I'm going to leave this disabled to keep everything compact. And for our collapsible content section, we can also add an image. If we go to the image layout section here, we can add an image, select our image ratio, and our desktop layout. So to add our image, let's click the select button at the top. This should open up your image library. To upload an image, go ahead and click the Add Images button. You can then find and open up the image that you want to use. The image you add will depend on whatever it is you're talking about in your section. For my image, I'm going to add a transparent mock-up of a model wearing one of my hoodies. So once your image finishes uploading, go ahead and click the Done button at the bottom right. And my image has been added to my collapsible content section. I think having a transparent background helps my image blend in a lot better. If you wanted to adjust your image ratio, you could do that using the next drop-down menu here. By default, your ratio will adapt to your image, but if you like, you could change this to small or large. When I select small or large, it looks like it cuts off my image a bit, so I'm going to stick with the Adapt to Image option. I think that looks pretty cool. And if you like, you can use the slider bars here to adjust the top or bottom padding of your section. But once you're finished, go ahead and click the back button to go back to the theme editor main menu. So we finished personalizing the layout of our collapsible content section. Now let's go over how to add content to our rows. Underneath the collapsible content tab, you should see 4 row blocks enabled by default. To add content to my first row here, let's click the first row block under the collapsible content tab. This will take us to a page where we can add the content for our collapsible row. At the top here, you can use the text field to add a heading for your row. Your heading should clearly explain what the content in your row is about. My first row is going to provide information about my brand, so I'm going to add the heading About Us. Underneath this, you can use the drop-down menu to select an icon for your row. There are tons of icons to choose from, which will be displayed right beside your heading. When selecting an icon, try to choose one that best represents your row's content. Since my store sells clothing and apparel, for my About Us row, I'm going to add a shirt icon. Once you add your heading and your icon, you can go to the next text field here to add your row's content. To add your content, simply type in the information that you want revealed when the customer clicks your row. If you like, you can use the top toolbar to add formatting to your text, or even generate your text using AI. To see how it looks, simply go to your row and click the drop-down arrow, and your content should be revealed. And finally, using the option at the bottom here, you can select to show content from a page in your row. If we click the select button here, it'll open up a menu where we can view all the pages that we've created for our Shopify store, and where we can create a new page if we like as well. So far, I've only created one page, which is my Discover Our Story page. So let's select this one to add it to my row. So now when a viewer selects my first row, they can see my heading, my icon, my description, and the page telling my brand story. But for my row, I'm not going to display a page. So let's go back to the drop-down menu here and go down to the bottom and click the Remove tab. And the page has been removed from my row. So once you finish adding content to your first row, go ahead and click the back button to go back to the theme editor main menu. You can now go through the exact same process to add content to the other rows in your collapsible content section. By default, there are 4 collapsible rows enabled, but I think I only want to use 3. So to remove my last row block here, I can either click the eyeball icon on the right hand side to hide the row, or the trash can icon to delete it. I think I'm just going to delete my last row. And my row has been removed. So here's my new collapsible content section where customers can learn more about my brand. To see how it looks on widescreen, let's click the full screen icon at the top here. So here's how my section will look on a widescreen desktop. Customers can easily click the drop-down arrows in each row to reveal the content. This allows us to pack more information into the section without overwhelming viewers. Even though this is a lot of information, it's well organized and easy to read. So let's see how the section looks on mobile devices by clicking the mobile icon at the top. And here's how the section will look on mobile devices. I have my caption at the top, my heading, my image, and then my collapsible rows. I think this looks pretty good. So feel free to customize your collapsible content section as much as you like. But once you're finished, go up to the top right of the page and click the Save button. And your collapsible content section has been added to your home page. So we've added a collapsible content section to our home page. Now let's go over how to add an email sign-up section. An email sign-up section provides a place where customers can enter their email address to subscribe to your newsletter, receive updates, or get other marketing content. This is a great way to build your email list, which can be used for marketing, to engage your customer base, and build brand loyalty. So to add an email sign-up to your Shopify homepage, let's go to the template menu on the left-hand side. At the bottom, go ahead and click the Add Section tab. This will open up a menu where you can view all the various sections that you can add to your homepage. From the list here, go ahead and find and select the Email Sign-Up tab. The Email Sign-Up section will then be added to the menu on the left, and you'll see a preview of the section on the right. As you can see, with an Email Sign-Up section, customers can enter their email address, which you can use to send them promotions or add them to your newsletter. So let's get started by personalizing the layout of our Email Sign-Up section. To do this, let's click the Email Sign-Up main tab. This will open up a menu where we can customize our layout. Using the drop-down menu at the top, we can select the color scheme for our section. There are several default color schemes we can select from, and if you like, you can go to your theme settings and create a custom color scheme. For my section, I think I'll have it stand out a bit and make it red. I think that'll grab some attention, and if you look at my logo, you can see red is in my brand colors. So next, we can use the option here to select whether or not to make our section full width. If it's full width, my red background will go all the way to the ends of the page. And if you like, you can use the slider bars here to adjust the padding at the top and bottom of your section. But once you're finished, go ahead and click the back button to go back to the theme editor main menu. So we finished personalizing the layout of our email sign-up section. Now let's go over how to edit our form, text, and content. If you look underneath the email sign-up tab, you should see several blocks. These will allow you to customize the various sections of your email form. So to change my heading, let's click the first block at the top here. This will take you to a page where you can edit your heading. Using the top text field here, you can type in whatever heading you want to use. Feel free to get creative, but for my heading, I'm just going to say join our newsletter. And underneath this, you can use the drop-down menu to adjust your heading size. You can select any size that you wish from small to extra large. For my heading size, I think I like medium. So once you're finished with your heading, go ahead and click the back button. Next, let's edit the description for our email sign-up section. To edit my description, let's click the second block under the Email Sign-Up tab. This will take us to a menu with a text field where we can add our description. If you're good at copywriting or you already know the description you want to use, go ahead and type it into the text field here. But for my description, I'm going to generate it using AI. To use AI to generate my description, let's click the Generate Text icon at the top toolbar. This will open up a menu where we can describe the text that we want the AI to generate. So for my text, I want the AI to write a description for people to join our newsletter to get updates and special offers. And once you describe your text, you can use the drop-down menu at the bottom here to select the tone for your text. There are several default tones you can select from, and you can add a custom tone if you like as well. To get people to join my newsletter, I think I'll go with persuasive. So once you add your description and select the tone, go ahead and click the Generate button at the bottom right. Artificial intelligence will then analyze your text and provide you with several description suggestions. Feel free to read over the various descriptions and select the one that you like best. Your description should then be added to the text field on the left, and you should see it appear in your preview on the right. So let's check out my description here and see what the AI came up with. It says, stay up to date with our latest product releases and limited time deals by signing up for our newsletter today. Never miss out. Not bad. Definitely better than what I could come up with. If you like, feel free to edit or change your text or add formatting using the text field on the left. But once you're finished adding your description, go ahead and click the back button. So for our email sign-up section, we've added our heading and our description. There's another block down here at the bottom for our email form, but if you click it, you'll see there's nothing we can edit. So to see how my email sign-up form looks on a widescreen desktop, let's click the full screen icon at the top here. And here's how my email sign-up form should look on desktop. As you can see, since I selected full screen, my red background goes all the way to the ends of the screen. I have my heading, my description, and the email form where customers can enter their email address. Simple yet effective. So let's click the mobile icon at the top to see how it looks on mobile devices. And here's how my email sign-up looks on mobile. Everything looks pretty much the same except a little more compact. So feel free to customize your email sign-up section as much as you like. But once you're finished, go up to the top right of the page here and click the Save button. And my email sign-up section has been added to my home page. So now that I've added my email sign-up section, let's go over where you can access the customer emails after they sign up. First, let's click the tab here to exit the theme editor. From your Shopify dashboard, go ahead and look at the menu on the left-hand side and go to the Customers tab. This will take you to a page where you can view all your past customers from your online store. Under the Customers tab on the left, you should now see a new tab that says Segments. Go ahead and click that now. Here's where you can view various segments that your customers are split into. At the bottom here, we can see a segment for my email subscribers. Simply click this and you can view all the customers that signed up using their email. So that's a quick overview of how to add an email sign up to your homepage and how to view the customer emails. So next, let's go over how to add and customize a contact form for your Shopify homepage. A contact form provides a section where shoppers can easily ask a question or leave a message. Having a contact form available is a great way to provide customer support and gather valuable information and feedback from potential or existing customers. So to add a contact form to my homepage, let's look at the template menu on the left-hand side and go all the way down to the bottom to the Add Section tab. If we click this, it'll open up a menu where we can view all the various sections that we can add to our homepage. From the list here, go ahead and select the Contact Form option. The Contact Form tab should then be added to the menu on the left, and you should see a preview of the section on the right. So as you can see from the preview, the Contact Form provides a place where customers can enter their name, their email, their phone number, and a comment. This makes it easy for shoppers to get in contact with you if they have a question or concern. All contact form submissions will be sent to your store's sender email address. If you like, you can view or change your sender email address in your Shopify admin settings. So to customize the layout of my contact form, let's click the Contact Form tab on the left-hand side. This will take us to a menu where we can add our heading and personalize the style of our contact form. To add your heading, simply type it into the text field at the top here. Feel free to get as creative as you like, but I'm going to keep things simple and just say Contact Us. When you add your heading, you should see it update on the left-hand side preview. Using the next drop-down menu here, we can select our heading size. We can select any size that we want from small to extra large. This will depend on your personal preference, but I'm going to go with medium. And underneath this, we can use the next drop-down menu here to select our color scheme. There are several default color schemes we can select from, and if you like, you can create a custom color scheme in your theme settings. For my color scheme, I think I'm going to stick with the first one. And if you like, you can use the slider bars here to adjust the top and bottom padding of your section. But once you're finished, go ahead and click the back button to go back to the theme editor main menu. So for our contact form, we've personalized the style, but there are no additional blocks that we can edit. This is just a simple section to allow shoppers to contact you. And if we look at the fields here, we can see the only one that's actually required is the email. So I've finished customizing my contact form, so let's click the full screen icon at the top to see how it looks on widescreen desktop. Not bad. It's definitely a very simple form, but effective. Let's also check and see how it looks on mobile devices by clicking the mobile icon at the top. And here's how my contact form looks on mobile. I have all the same fields here, but the layout is a bit different with everything on top of each other. So if needed, feel free to make changes to your contact form, but once you're finished, go ahead and click the Save button at the top right. And my contact form has been added to my Shopify homepage. Shoppers can now enter a message, and it'll be sent directly to my Shopify store sender's email. So we've gone over how to add a contact form. Now let's go over how to add an attention-grabbing video to your Shopify homepage. Adding a video to your homepage is an engaging way to connect with customers and enhance your store's visual appeal. You can use a video for several purposes, such as to showcase products in a dynamic way, tell your brand story, or provide educational content. So from the theme editor, let's start by going to the template menu on the left-hand side. At the bottom, go ahead and click the Add Section tab. This will open up a menu where you can view all the various sections that are available to add to your homepage. From the list here, go ahead and scroll down and find the Video tab. If you click this, the Video tab should be added to the menu on the left, and you should see a preview of the section on the right. As you can see, your video will be displayed prominently on your homepage, so it's easier for customers to view. So to customize our video section and add our video, let's click the Video tab on the left-hand side. This will open up a menu where we can personalize the layout of our video section. Using the text field at the top here, we can add our heading. Your heading will depend on whatever it is your video is showing. For my homepage video, I'm just going to add a promo video showcasing the various products in my online store. So for my heading, I'm going to say your source for stylish products. And underneath this, we can use the drop-down menu to select our heading size. There are several sizes to choose from small to extra large. Feel free to select whatever size you wish, but I'm going to go with medium. And using the next option here, we can select to play our video on a loop. If you enable this, your homepage video will repeat each time it ends. I'm going to have my video loop, but keep in mind, if your video has music or other audio, it could get annoying for the shopper. So the next thing we can do in our menu here is add our video. To add your video to your homepage, you can select one of two options. First, you can upload your video directly to Shopify with a Shopify hosted video. Or if you like, you can simply embed your video using a YouTube link. For this example, I'll be uploading my video as a Shopify hosted video. So to upload my video, let's click the select button here. This will open up your video library where you can view all the videos that you've previously uploaded to Shopify and where you can add new videos as well. So before I upload my video, let's take a look at some various video types that you can select to add to your homepage. The type of video you decide to add will depend on the goal for your homepage video. With product showcase videos, you can highlight your best-selling or new products with quick, engaging clips that show your products from various angles. You can demonstrate key features or benefits, which can really boost viewer interest. If it fits your product, you could also choose to make an how-to or explainer video. These are videos that demonstrate or explain how to use your products. This shows your products in action and can help to build trust with viewers. If you like, you can also add customer testimonial videos, which shows real stories from real customers that have used your product. Having a short clip where customers talk about their experience with their product can be very persuasive and can also help to build credibility and trust. You could also choose to add your brand story or behind the scenes video. This can be a video that tells the story of your brand, shows the creation or manufacturing process of your product, the people behind your brand, or other behind the scenes videos that can create a deeper connection with the viewer. This kind of content can help humanize your brand. Another great video you could add is a promotional video. You can use these to highlight special sales, seasonal promotions, or maybe announce new collections. Promotional videos should be dynamic and convey urgency and excitement to encourage customers to take action. Another cool video type you could add are lifestyle videos. These are great to show how your product fits into the customer's everyday life. For instance, if you sell fishing gear, a video of someone using your product during a fishing trip can resonate well with your audience, showing how your product can be used in a real-life setting. And for products such as tech gadgets, fashion items, or anything that comes in an appealing package, you might choose to add an unboxing video. This can give a first-hand look at what customers will receive, enhancing the anticipation of the buying experience. So when creating videos for your Shopify homepage, try to keep them short and engaging. Attention spans are typically short on homepages. You also want to make sure you create high-quality videos to reflect the quality of your brand. And many users will be accessing your site from their phones, so you want to make sure to optimize for mobile viewing. And finally, you want to make sure to include clear call to actions like shop now, learn more, or add to cart to guide viewers towards making a purchase or learning more about your product. So to upload my video for my homepage, let's click the Add Videos button in the center here. I can then find and open up my video. Depending on the length of your video, it may take a moment to upload, but once it finishes, make sure you have it selected, then click the Done button at the bottom right. And your video should now be added to your preview. I made a short brand promotion video for my homepage, so let's click the play button here and check it out. I have my full logo here with various models wearing my clothing items, and then it switches to my brand icons surrounded by various products. And at the end, it says, "Dress the part, live the dream, stylish products for hustlers." And if you selected the loop option for your video, it'll continuously play. I think this will work perfectly for my homepage. Also, if you wanted to add a cover image for your video, you could do that by clicking the select button here. And underneath this, you can add your video alt text, which is where you describe your video for customers using screen readers. I'm just going to add Quantum Design's promo video. And under the style section, we can use the first option here to make our video full width. This will depend on your personal preference, but for my video, I'm going to leave it standard. And using the next drop-down menu, we can select the color scheme for our video section. There are several color schemes we can select from, and if you like, you can create a custom color scheme in your theme settings. For my video section, I think I like the red color scheme. If you like, you can use the slider bars at the bottom here to adjust the top and bottom padding of your section, but once you're finished, go ahead and click the back button to go back to the theme editor main menu. So we've added our video and customized our video section for our home page. To see how it looks on widescreen desktop, let's click the full screen icon at the top here. And here's how my video looks on desktop. Since I didn't select the option to make my video full screen, I can still see my red borders around my video. I think this looks pretty good. So let's click the mobile icon at the top to see how it looks on mobile devices. And here's how my video will look on mobile. On mobile devices, everything looks a bit smaller, so you want to make sure everything in your video is large enough to see. You want to check to see how your section looks on all devices to see if you need to make any changes. But if everything looks good, go ahead and go up to the top right of the page here and click the Save button. And my new video has been added to my home page. Customers can now scroll down my home page, view my video, and get excited about my products. So we've gone over how to add a video. Now let's go over how to add a blog post section to your Shopify homepage. If you've already started creating blog posts for your Shopify store, which I highly recommend you do, you can use a blog post section to add selected blog posts to your homepage. Displaying blog posts on your homepage is a great way to increase customer engagement, establish authority, and improve your store's SEO. So to add a blog post section to your Shopify homepage, let's start by going to the template menu on the left-hand side. At the bottom, go ahead and click the Add Section tab. This will open up a menu where you can view all the various sections that you can add to your homepage. From the list here, go ahead and scroll down and find the Blog Post tab. The Blog Post tab will then be added to your menu on the left, and you should see a preview of the section on the right. So as you can see, this is a section that will display various blog posts on your homepage. You can select which blog post to display and how many. So let's start by personalizing our layout. To do this, let's click the Blog Post main tab here. This will take us to a menu where we can customize the layout of the section and add our blog posts. At the top here, we can use the text field to add a heading for our blog post section. For your heading, feel free to get as creative as you like, but for my heading, I'm just going to type in Quantum Designs blog posts. And using the next drop-down menu here, we can select the size of our heading. You can select any size that you like from small to extra large. This will depend on your personal preference, but I think I'm going to go with small. And underneath this, we can select the blog that we want to use with our section. Hopefully you've already started blogging on Shopify and have one available, but if not, you can create a new one. So to select the blog that you want to display, go ahead and click the Select button here. This will open up a menu displaying all the blogs that you've created on Shopify and where you can create a new blog if you like as well. All the blogs that you've already started will be in the list here, and if you need to create a new one, simply click the tab up top. This will take you to a menu where you can start a new blog on Shopify. Simply enter your blog details, and once you're finished, click the Save button at the bottom right. Your new blog will then be created, and you can start adding your blog posts. But I'm going to use a blog that I've already created, so let's go back to the theme editor. Currently, I've only created one blog, which is my Quantum Designs blog. So let's click it to select it. My section should now display various blog posts from my Quantum Designs blog. In the preview here, we can see the images for my blogs, the blog titles, and the first few sentences. Using the next slider bar here, you can select the number of blog posts to show. By default, it shows 3 blog posts, but you can easily change this if you like. And using the next slider bar, you can select the number of columns. I don't have enough blog posts to have multiple columns, but feel free to select the number of columns if you do. And underneath this, you can use the drop-down menu to select the color scheme for your blog post section. There are several color schemes to choose from, and if you need to create a custom color scheme, you can do that in your theme settings. I think I'm just going to stick with the first color scheme. And using the next few options here, you can select what you want to display in the section. You can select whether or not to show your featured image, show the date the blog was published, the author, or enable the View All button. Using the last option, we can enable or disable the View All tab, which will allow shoppers to view all of our blog posts. And if you would like to adjust the top and bottom padding of your section, you could do that using the slider bars at the bottom here. So feel free to personalize your blog post section as much as you like. And once you're finished, go ahead and click the back button to go back to the theme editor main menu. So we've added a blog post section to our homepage, but let's see how it looks on a widescreen desktop by clicking the full screen icon at the top here. And here's how my blog post section will look on my homepage. I have my heading at the top, and my various blog posts. And at the bottom, I have my View All button. Once I add more blogs, it should display up to 3 columns. So let's see how it looks on mobile devices by clicking the mobile icon at the top here. So on mobile devices, I have my heading at the top, my View All button underneath, and then my blog posts. On mobile, customers can actually scroll to the right of my screen to view my blog posts. This keeps everything compact and easy to view on mobile devices. So if you want to continue personalizing your section or you need to make any changes, feel free to do that now. But once you're finished, go ahead and go up to the top right of the page here and click the Save button. And a new blog post section has been added to my Shopify homepage. Customers can now visit my online store and view my blog posts directly on my storefront. So we've gone over the process to add blog posts to your homepage. Now let's go over how to display a page. A page section allows you to show content on your homepage from a different page in your online store. This is a great way to help shoppers find important information from another page and can improve user experience. Typical pages to display on your homepage include things like an About Us page, shipping details, or a fact page. So to display a page on your homepage, let's start by going to the template menu on the left-hand side. At the bottom, go ahead and click the Add Section tab. This will open up the menu where you can view all the various sections that are available to add to your homepage. From the list here, go ahead and scroll down and select the tab that says Page. The Page tab will then be added to your menu on the left, and you'll see a preview of the section on the right. Currently, the section is blank because we haven't added any content. So to add my page and adjust other customization settings, let's click the Page tab on the left-hand side. This will open up a menu where we can select our page and adjust our settings. So to select the page to add to my section, let's click the Select button at the top here. This will open up a menu where you can view all the pages that you've created for your Shopify store. The column here will display all the pages that you've created for your store. And if you need to create a new page, you can do that by clicking the tab up top. This will take you to the menu where you can add a new page to your Shopify store. Simply put in your title up top, and you can add the content for your page in the text field underneath. When adding your content, you can add your text, formatting, images, links, and much more. Feel free to create your new page if you like, but for my store, I'm going to use the page I've already created. So let's go back to the theme customization menu. So currently, I've only created one page, which is my About Us page. So to add this to my home page, let's click it to select it. And my About Us page is now being displayed on my home page. I have my heading up top, my logo, my text, and even some images. I think this looks pretty good. So using the next drop-down menu here, we can select our heading size. We can select any size that we like from small to extra large. This will depend on your personal preference, but I think I'm going to stick with medium. And underneath this, you can select a color scheme for your section. There are several default color schemes you can select from, and if you like, you can create a custom color scheme in your theme settings. For my section, I think I'll go with the third color scheme. And if you need to adjust the top and bottom padding of your section, you can do that using the slider bars here. But once you finish adding your new page, go ahead and click the back button to go back to the theme editor main menu. So my About Us page is now being displayed on my home page. Let's see how it looks on a widescreen desktop by clicking the full screen icon at the top. And here's how my page section looks on a full screen desktop. I have my heading at the top, followed by my page content. This could be a great way to provide important information to your customers. So to see how the page section looks on mobile devices, let's click the mobile icon at the top. And here's how my page section will look on mobile. I have all the same elements here, just in a more narrow column. I think this looks pretty good. So feel free to customize your page section as much as you like. But once you're finished, go up to the top right of the page here and click the Save button. And my About Us page will now be displayed on my home page. So we've gone over how to display a page on your home page. Now let's go over how to customize your Shopify store footer. Your store footer is displayed at the bottom of all pages of your online store, making it one of the most important sections to enhance. Your footer can include several elements such as your navigation menu, social media links, details about your brand, and links to mandatory legal information like your store's terms of service. So from the theme customization page, let's go to the menu on the left-hand side. If you scroll all the way down to the bottom, you should see the footer section. Here's where you can personalize your footer and add new sections. If we go to my footer in the preview on the right, we can see it currently has some default content. We're going to be updating this and adding a lot more. So let's go to the footer section from the menu on the left. If you like, you could click the Add Section tab, and from the menu here, you could add an email sign up to your footer. If I click this, the email sign up section will be added right above my footer content. I have my heading, my description, and the place where customers can enter their email. To customize the section, we can use the menu on the left here. From here, you can select the color scheme for your email sign-up section, select whether or not to make the section full width, and adjust your section padding. But for my homepage, I already have an email sign-up section, so let's delete this one by going to the tab here and clicking the trash can icon on the right-hand side. And my footer email sign-up section has been removed. So next, let's go over how to customize the main section of my footer. First, let's select our customization settings by clicking the footer main tab here. This will take you to a menu where you can select the various options and settings for your main footer section. Using the drop-down menu at the top, you can select the color scheme for your footer section. There are several color schemes to choose from, and if you want to create a custom color scheme, you can do that in your theme settings. For my online store footer, I think I'm going to go with the black color scheme. And using the next option here, you have another way to add an email sign-up to your footer. If we enable the option here, we'll have a new email sign-up section appear at the bottom. I actually like the size and location of this email sign-up section, so I think I'll leave it enabled. And using the next text field here, we can add the heading for our email sign-up. By default, it simply says subscribe to our emails, but I think I'm going to change this to join our newsletter. There we go. And using the next section here, we can add the follow on shop button to our footer. Showing the follow on shop button in your footer will allow customers to follow your store in the shop app from your storefront, but keep in mind, shop pay must be enabled. And if we scroll down to the next section here, you can select to display your social media icons in your footer. This will show the icons for all the different social media brand pages that you have linked to your Shopify store. If you haven't added your social media links yet, you can do that in your theme settings. And underneath this, you'll have several options enabled by default, including your country and region selector, your language selector, your payment methods, and your policy links. These are all pretty standard for a footer, but feel free to remove any of these if needed. And if you like, you can use the last two sections here to adjust the spacing and the padding of your section. But once you're finished, go ahead and click the back button to go back to the theme editor main menu. So we finished customizing the bottom section of our footer. Now let's go over how to add our blocks. If we go to the footer tab drop down menu, we can see there's currently one block enabled by default, which is our brand information. If we click the block here, it'll open up a menu where we can edit our brand information. And underneath this, we can select whether or not to show our social media icons. If you need to edit your brand information, simply click the link here. This will take you to your theme settings. Simply scroll down the list here and go to the brand information tab. Here's where you can edit the headline, the description, and the image for your brand. Feel free to edit this if you like, but once you're finished, go ahead and click the icon here to go back to the theme editor main menu. I can then scroll back down and go back to the brand information tab. So we've gone over how to edit our brand information, but underneath this, we can select to enable or disable our social media icons. Since my icons are already being shown at the bottom part of my footer, I think I'm going to disable these. Customers can still reach my brand pages using the icons at the bottom right hand side here. So let's click the back button and go back to the theme editor. So we've gone over how to customize the brand information block for your footer, but now let's see what else we can do. Not only can you have a brand information block in your footer, but also several other block types as well. To add a new block, simply hover your mouse underneath the first block and you should see the add block icon appear. If you select this, it'll open up a menu with several block types that you can select from to add to your footer. For your footer, you can add a menu block, a brand information block, a text block, or an image block. So to add a menu block to my Shopify store footer, let's click the option here. And my brand information block will be shifted over to the side, making room for my menu block. So to edit my footer menu, let's click the quick link option underneath the footer tab. This will open up the menu where you can edit your menu heading and select the menu that you want to use. So to edit my heading, I can simply type in the heading that I want to use into the text field here. And to replace, edit, or remove your menu, simply click the drop down menu here. To change my menu, I can click the replace tab and it'll open up a menu displaying all the menus that I've created on Shopify. I could simply select one of these, or if I like, I could create a new menu using the tab up top here. But for my footer section, I think I'm going to add my main menu. So if I click to select it, my menu should be changed in my footer menu preview on the right. So if we look at my footer, it now displays my brand information and my main menu. But if we go back to the footer tab on the left hand side and click to add another block, we can see there are a couple of more options available. Using the next option here, we can add a text block to our footer. And once again, things will shift around a bit and you should see the text block appear in your footer. So to edit your text, let's click the heading block underneath the footer tab on the left-hand side. This will open up a menu where you can add your heading and your subtext. For your text block, feel free to highlight important information such as your store details, product promotions, or other brand content. For my text, I'm just going to add a short About Us section to give a little information about my brand. For your text, feel free to add formatting, links, or other customization options. But once you're finished, go ahead and click the back button to go back to the theme editor main menu. So now if we go back down to my footer, we can see that I have my brand information, my menu, and my About Us text. But there's still one more block type that we can add to our footer. So let's go back to the footer tab on the left-hand side and click to add a new block. From the list here, you should see the image block. If we click this, it'll add a menu placeholder to our preview on the right, and you should see the image tab appear on the left. So once we add our image, it should appear in the space here. So let's go to the footer section from the menu on the left and go down and select the image block. Here's where we can add and adjust our image. So to add an image to my footer, let's click the select button at the top here. This will take you to your image library. To upload my image, let's click the add images button here. I can then find and open up the image that I want to use in my footer. Once it finishes uploading, make sure you have it selected, then click the done button at the bottom right. For my footer image, I just added a square image displaying some of my products. But my image looks a bit small, so let's use the slider bar underneath here to increase my image width. There we go. I think that looks much better. And using the last option here, we can select our image alignment on large screens. I think I'm going to keep mine centered. So once you're finished adding your image, go ahead and click the back button to go back to the theme editor main menu. So for my footer, I've finished adding my brand information block, my menu block, my text block, and my image block. To see how it looks on widescreen desktop, let's click the full screen icon at the top here. So let's take a look at the desktop view of my footer. I have my 4 footer blocks here, which is the brand information, menu, text, and image blocks. And at the very bottom, I have my newsletter sign up, my follow on shop button, my social media brand page icons, my country and region selector, the payment methods my store selects, and my copyright info and footer links at the bottom. I think this is starting to look like a professional footer. So let's click the mobile icon at the top here to see how it looks on mobile devices. And here's how my footer will look on mobile devices. Instead of displaying blocks side by side, everything will be displayed in a single column. I think this looks pretty good, but feel free to look over your footer and see if you need to make any changes. Also, if you wanted to rearrange, hide, or remove any of your footer blocks, you could easily do that as well. For my footer here, I really don't need my brand information and an About Us section, so I think I'll remove my brand information block. If we go to the brand information tab on the left-hand side here, we can see there are 2 options to remove the block. We can either click the trash can icon to completely delete it, or simply click the eyeball icon to hide the block so we can bring it back later if needed. I'm going to use the eyeball icon to hide the block just in case I want to use my brand information block in the future. So now my footer only has 3 blocks, which is my menu block, my text block, and my image block. If you needed to rearrange your blocks, you could easily do that by going to the left-hand side of the block tab, then clicking and dragging it to the position you wish. There we go. And my menu blocks have been rearranged. Feel free to rearrange your footer blocks until you get everything exactly the way you want it. So before you continue, make sure you use the icons up top to check and see how your footer looks on all devices to see if you need to make any changes. But if everything looks good, make sure you go up to the top right of the page here and click the save button to save your changes. And my new footer has been added to my online store. So for the Spotlight theme, all the various sections have been added to my homepage. So now let's review and add the finishing touches to my theme. Once you publish and go live, your current theme will be replaced with the one we just finished customizing. So let's head over to the theme customization menu and check out what we've done so far. So if we take a look at my homepage sections, the order of the sections will be shown in the same order as the template menu here. Before publishing, we'll need to rearrange the sections into our desired order. For instance, I want my slideshow to be at the top of my homepage, so to move it there, we'll have to go to the slideshow tab from the template section on the left-hand side. And using the little dots icon here, we can click and drag our section to our desired location. There we go. And my slideshow is now shown at the top of my homepage. If you like, feel free to rearrange and move other sections around as well. I typically like to start with a dynamic slideshow, but feel free to rearrange your homepage however you like. And if you needed to delete or hide one of your sections, you could easily do that using the icons on the right-hand side of the tab. For instance, if I wanted to hide my collapsible content section here, I could click the trash can icon to delete the section, or click the eyeball icon to hide it. For my section, let's just hide it. When I click the eyeball icon, my section should disappear from my home page. And if I ever wanted it back, I could click the eyeball icon to reveal it again. So feel free to rearrange, hide, or remove any sections that you wish. And once you're finished, let's click the full screen icon at the top here to see how it looks on widescreen desktop. So for my online store, I have my announcement bar at the top, my customized store header, my slideshow, my rich text section, and all the other sections that we've covered in the video. Make sure you go through each section and see if you need to make any changes. So once you've rearranged and reviewed your sections and you're happy with how everything looks, make sure you go up to the top right of the page here and click the Save button. And all of the changes to your theme should now be saved. And if you're ready to go live, you can publish your new theme by clicking the Publish button here. When you click the Publish button, you'll see a confirmation menu pop up asking if you're sure you want to save and publish the Spotlight theme. Keep in mind, when you publish, customers will see your theme when they visit your online store. So if you're ready to publish, go ahead and click the Publish button at the bottom right. And after a moment, the Spotlight theme should then be published to your online store. And at the top of your themes menu here, your current theme should now be changed to the Spotlight theme. If you ever need to make any changes to your theme, simply come back to the themes menu here and click the Customize button on the right hand side. And if you ever wanted to switch back to any of your previous themes, you can easily do that by going to your theme library here. So to see how my live store looks, let's click the View Your Store button at the top here. And here's my Shopify store that we just built using the Spotlight theme. We have all the different sections that we added to my theme throughout the video, and they should all now be fully functional for customers. As you add new products to your online store, don't forget to update your homepage sections and your images. Also, you may want to try arranging your homepage in different ways to see what works best. For instance, my slideshow is currently at the top, but I may move my video to the top to see if it converts better. And from your themes menu, make sure you keep a close eye on your website stats at the top here. Keep note of what device type is used most, and try to keep your loading speed, interactivity, and visual stability in the moderate to good range. So that's a quick overview of how to customize the popular Spotlight theme on Shopify. If you enjoyed the video, take a moment to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.